Hello everyone. Let us wait for 1 or 2 minutes so others to join. Okay, and then we can start our session. Okay. Hello, 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 hello all. If my voice is audible, kindly tell me. If your voice is clear, kindly tell it in the chat box. That that helps me a lot. If my voice is audible, can anyone tell it in the chat box? Yes. Thank you, Gopi Krishna. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let us start the class. Others will joining. No issues. They will join. Okay. So what is the workshop is all about? What is the next 4 hours we're going to see what this workshop is all about that we're going to see that. So things here is it is an advanced to master class. So what are the things that we're going to discuss is let me tell you that one. Sure. So first of all the thing is it is not a beginner friendly workshop. So make sure that if you don't have any knowledge in JavaScript, you're just right now started to learn JavaScript, then this workshop is not for you, kindly. So we have already taken the beginner workshop 4 hours in the last Saturday. You can watch that one because here the whatever that we're going to teach, whatever that we're going to learn today, it's going to be with little bit advanced topics and not that much advanced topics or things are going to see. You're going to see about the master's level, so much of things. So it's going to be a knowledge heavy. So you need to know about the syntax, basic functionality, how everything works. Those things you need to understand. So that's the reason. If you have you're not already a beginner level, just watch the beginner level, then watch it because here this workshop is not for you. I'm sorry for that. So that's for it. Let's see what are the things that we're going to see in this advanced workshop. So give a minute. I will increase. Yeah. Okay. And check your screen resolution also. If you are watching it in some low quality, just convert it that to because it is like the live is live going on at the 4K. So if you want to convert it to a higher resolution, just convert it. And speaking about those workshop, so here we will get going to get a certificate also, a participation certificate from the team of TWD. If you want it, so in this workshop we will share you two attendance form. Okay, so we will share you anytime in the live chat box. You will get it. Okay, and those who are watching in any other videos, you can also connect with YouTube. Even some other platform also it will come, but it is better to connect with YouTube. That is fine. So we will share you an attendance form. Just fill out this attendance form, both attendance form. Once you have filled this attendance form, then that's it. You can just you will get to your certificate too. Okay, and you can able to chat with me. This is going to be an interactive webinar only, so you can ask any doubts. Meanwhile, that comes, you can just come to your mind. You can just ask with me here. We will interact it and make this section more interactive because it is going to be a 4 hours long workshop. If it is interactive, then we can go a little bit. Okay. So okay. So what are the topics that we're going to see now? So the first topic that we're going to see is all about the classes. So speaking about ES6, there are so much of things is there in ES6. So we're going to see about classes and other methods that need to kickstart yourself with an React. Okay. So if you want to start with React, then you need to know this. We're going to see this, and we're going to see about this prototypal inheritance, prototypal inheritance, constructor functions, factory function. Those concepts we're going to cover the first 1 hour. And once we cover that, the next 1 hour is going to be another the ES6 understanding syntax. We're going to see about destructuring, um, what is the use case of spread operator, rest operator, arrow functions, this keyword. So much of things we're going to discuss, and that will give you a clear picture about the whole ES6 to understand React much more better. So that is going to be the second one, and it's all about ES6 methods. Okay, so newly introduced methods, we're going to have a look into that. And once we're done with that, going to jump into the process of asynchronous. Okay, so asynchronous JavaScript we're going to see. So here we're going to discuss all about JavaScript runtime environment. We're going to see about what is call stack, what is memory heap, what is going to be how the asynchronous in JavaScript is happening, how can we control the flow, how promises, and we're going to see about async and await, and then so much of things. Callback. Those things we're going to cover it in this asynchronous process. Okay, and all these things are done, then probably we jump into a mini project to apply our asynchronous concept into an API project to get some data to create a user interface. Okay, so you can see that in user interface application may be anything. We will search for it because I'm also having no idea about what API that we can go and get it. We will search it in internet and find out an API application and see how this asynchronous process is working, and then how we are applying that we will discuss it. And also asynchronous mostly it will be performed in backend to control the server database, to wait for server database, those things. I will give you a practical application, so, and with my code that I'm working on it, I will show you that where it is working and how the processes take place and how the backend is also how it is using. I will give you it, but the main aim is to not focusing on the backend because we are not touching the Node.js part and everything. I will give you an example about that how asynchronous is working in the backend. So that will be really helpful when after you started to learn asynchronous like the Node.js and after these things you will apply it. That will be really helpful. Okay, so that's all other things we're going to discuss in this 2 hours of workshop. Sorry, 4 hours of workshop, and yeah, we will get started. So what I'm going to do? Let me save this. Okay, just to save it in the desktop. Okay, it's going to be a very steady class. There is no fast forward or anything like that. We're going to we have time, we have enough time. We're going to go with very steady. Okay, no issue. Okay, so now inside this new folder, not this folder, let me create a new folder and we will store all our codes here. Again, I'm repeating, if you are new, if you don't know about the basic syntax of JavaScript, then this is the workshop that is not completely for you. Just was the beginner friendly. After that was this one. Okay, the already the last Saturday we have taken the class. Have a look into that, then you will understand what is JavaScript, why we are using JavaScript, what is the purpose of JavaScript, why it is built for, and the syntax, DOM manipulation, everything. Here there is no DOM manipulation and everything. At the end of practical application only we're going to see about the DOM manipulation, and so it's going to be a knowledge heavy theory part. Most of them going to be that. Just have a look into that. Okay, so we created a folder, the name is folder 2, and basically what we will do, we will set up this file. I just want the index.html file and then a JavaScript file. I just going to name it as app or main.js. Okay, let us create a boiler template. Just going to give like JavaScript master workshop. Okay, like this, and we're going to link our script tag. Okay, and also you can set up the type module. If you don't want to set up also, that is fine, no problem, but here I just going to say that src equal to dot slash app main.js. Okay, we are saying, and in here we're just going to write our code. I just going to say console.log master workshop. Okay, so do one thing, let me open a browser for us and we will load it there. Keep it like this. Okay, and let us run the live server. Yeah, let us check this in a console. Yes, everything is working. Don't care about this error. It is just a load error. If you refresh it, it will be gone. Okay, let's get started with our first topic. The first topic is going to be classes. One of the important topics that we're going to discuss, what is meant by classes and how it is the inheritance of object is happening, and all those things. Classes and classes inheritance we're going to discuss. Okay, just mentioning it as okay. I'm just going to mention this as an class and class inheritance. Class inheritance. Okay. This is a topic that we're going to discuss. And this is a comment. It is not rendered in the browser. It is a comment. So you don't worry. So you will get the structure flow. Okay, so now what we're going to see is about, let me see, auto classes and classes inheritance. So we are moving towards that. So actually, if it is a method and if a default method is there and everything is there, so there is actually a problem will be there, right? So a problem will be there, and then we will get the solution. And once the solution is get, we will frame a method. And once the method is framed, then the updation is happened. So right now we are using class and classes inheritance. So there will be an updation before that. There is some problem that has happened in our code. So that problem is solved in our code. Okay. So what is the problem that is classes and classes inheritance solving, and how it is evolved? What is the previous method that we use? So those things are there. So let me start with the beginning of the problem statement. Then we will see what all of the updation has happened and now how it is working. Then that will be a good choice. Okay. So first is the way of writing procedural code. And again, I'm repeating, if you want to discuss anything, you can tell it in the chat box. We can discuss that also. Okay, and make this live as much as interactive. That's what it is. Okay. So procedural way of writing coding. So what is meant by procedural way of writing coding is like simple. It is like as it is writing coding. There is no structure will be there. How my logic is neat. So based on the logic, what I want, I will write it. For example, if I want to create and if I want to store a data, I want to create a variable. I just going to say const const name equal to, let us consider this is going to be a person name. Let us take this name as, let us consider it as a Vijay. Okay, and here if I want to create another information that is related to that particular person, so I just going to say const age. Okay, equal to, let us say, like let us say 37 is the age of Vijay, and I need to perform a function, a method for that particular data. So what is that? That is going to be a function, and I just going to say details of the particular person. It will be details of the particular person. Here it is going to take up name and then age, and it is going to return. I'm going to use the template literal. Hi, my name is my name is name of the person, and my age is age of the person. Okay, like this. Okay, and where I want to, yeah, hope, just a minute. Hope my voice is audible, right, for all. It's showing some network issue here for me. Can anyone tell it in the chat box if any voice issue is happened? Just tell it in the chat box. Okay, yeah, okay. So I'm just going to say what I'm going to do here. Vijay, why? You can take any name, not only Vijay. You can go with, we can say Vikram, or you can say Abhinav, whatever name. Okay, so it's not what name. I just storing a person name. That's what it is. Let's show my name like this. Okay, that's what it is. And here I just going to say details, and sorry, details. Okay, so let me evoke the details here by passing the name. Is going to be the name of the person and the age of the person, and we can save it. So this is the function that we have created. To see the result, we can ask it in the console. Sorry, detail. Just I can ask it in the console.log by passing the name and the age. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Okay. So here we are getting this. So this is what we are getting. So let me see if I want to create the same structure for another person. Okay. Hi. Oh, that is yes, you're audible. Okay. So if I want to create another structure, if I just copy this, paste it, and now if I want to give what I want to do, for example, let us take this is going to be the person one name. Okay. Let me check. Let me put like this, and let us use the capital case. Okay. And here it is going to be person two name, and here it's going to be person one age. Okay. And here it is going to be person two age. Okay. And by passing here you can change this to person one name, and here it's going to be person two age, make age, like this. Okay. Just an example. Copying, copying, copy. Just an example. Detail is already declared. I just going to say this is going to be detail one, and this is going to be details two. Okay. Details two, and then details one. And now you can able to see that we are getting the person name. Let me change the person name to some other name like this, and you can able to see we are getting this. Notice that what is the problem with this code. So what the problem with this code is, you can able to see the repetition. You can see we are having the same structure for person one. The same structure is also happening for the person two, right? So the first of all, the code is not at structure. Why I'm saying this means, when I look this code, I don't know whether this person two detail is going to is just particularly for this particular person, or this function is relatable only for this function. No, everything is in a global object, and everything I'm using it. I can pass any object and this is going to work, right? If I run this is going to work. By passing a different name, it is going to work. So now what I want to do is I need to structure it. Okay. This is not in a way of structuring. So everything is in here. So we cannot store. If I have 1,000 names or 1,000 person name again and again, I want to store it. Just think about that how look it is. Okay. If I want to find out the 51st person, then what I need to do this. I just want to go inside this. Every code is under this, right? Every data is all that, and the data is not structured. First, I need to structure it. So that is why the next come. That is what object is. Okay. So basically, object is grouping things together. The core concept is grouping things together. So what are the things? Keeping the data and the function both are in a single place. Keeping the data and the function both are in the single place. Simply data and the behavior. Okay. So data is going to be the variable, the properties that we are storing, and it is going to be a function that is going to be the method in object. So in this way, what we can do, we can structure the code. Hey, this is a person one, this is person two, this is person three. And if you want for any information about person one, you can come into person one object and you can check it. All the information about person one will be there. It will be a structured code. Okay. So how can we achieve this instead of writing this? Because it is everywhere. It is in a global object. Anyone can access it, and anyone can manipulate it by accidentally also. It has happened. But when it comes to an object, we need to narrow down, right? Person one dot person one dot name, person one dot age, person three dot name. Like that, I need to go narrow down, and then only I can able to change it, or else I'm not able to change it. That's what it is. So first we need to structure this code. This code is not in a structured way, and if it is not in a structured way, high possibility we will get an error. How can we structure it? So object is same. How we can do this means the same exact thing, but we can do with a simpler structure. For example, let us take this as a person one, and just create name. And what is the name of the person? You can store it here. And what is the age of the person? You can store it here. And if you want to give any function, you can tell it here. For example, it is going to be a detail for details, and you can give the function. Okay. And you can ask for the same thing. The only difference is here, instead of name, you can give person name, person one, person dot name, person dot age, person dot age, like this. Okay, person dot name and person one dot name, person one dot age, like this, like this. Okay, so now you can see the code is structured. If I want to create another person, I don't want to go and change everything. I can simply change the variable name, because variable name should be unique. I can change it, and the data that are dynamically we need to change it, we can change it. So keeping the code structure, for example, like this. So now you can able to see the codes are in structured way, not like this. Everything is in group together. Anyone can access it, okay, because it is globally available. Anyone can access it and anyone can manipulate it. If you want to build the same structure again and again, you need to build it. That's the thing. But here, what was happening? It is inside this particular object. So if someone want to access it, the person need to go inside the object and they need to access it. For example, if I want to access person one's age, then I need to type like this: console.log person one is an object, go for the age of the person. Like this I need to go. There is no accident way happen until unless, like, there is a little bit higher priority given when it is a structure. So if I run it, we will get the age like this. Okay, so this is the structured way comes. That is how the object basis came. Okay, so now the object is created. Fine. What is the problem with object? What is the problem we are facing with object? So in object also the problem happens when the repetition is happening. So here also, when we are building a same structure and again I need to copy the code and I need to paste it and I need to produce it. But this is all in a global function. That is a complete mess and I'm not able to do something like this. So that is why we are structuring the thing. If I want to create an another person information, that is also exactly the same person having, what all are the things that is defective here. You can able to notice two things here. So what all are the two things is, the first thing is you can able to see only the you can able to see the properties, name, age, and then details, right? You can able to see here, name is here, age is here, and detail is here. And all the three things is common in all the objects. If I create another 10 objects, it is going to be common in all the 10 objects. Only the data are changing, right? John, summary, like this, the data are changing. So, but only the data are changing, but every time I need to write again and again the properties also. So repetition is happening. The properties are getting repeated again and again. It is getting repeated. And there is another more problem is here is console.log person one, comma person two. What is the another problem that we are facing is, you can notice this details function, right? You can notice this detail function. You can able to see here, and this is also detail function. Okay, here we're going to implement this keyword instead of this person one to get a better understanding. But if you're not aware of this keyword, let me give a small intro. So what is this keyword is, this is going to actually represent an object. Okay, it is a substitute for an object. Okay, so you can use this keyword and it is always refers to an object. So depend upon where it is invoked, it will change the this keyword's value will be changed. For right now, what you can understand is, if I use this keyword inside this method function inside an object is called as method. If I use this keyword inside this method, this keyword refers to the that particular object. For example, if I say console.log and if I say this, okay, I'm asking what is this here. If I asking here what is this, and if I invoke the details, I remove this person one dot detail function. Okay, if I invoke it, you can able to see that this keyword is giving me this object. I just stop this returning also. You can notice what is it is giving. It is giving that particular object where this keyword belongs to, right? So this keyword inside a method represent that particular object. Right now understand this. So there is another way of understanding also. You can take a little bit of shortcut. You can remember this always refers to the function. Okay, that it always refers to an object that the function is property of. Just note it down the sentence. This always refers to the object that the function is property of. What is meant by that? A function property of, this always refers to the object, an object where the function is property of. So here inside this function only we're going to put this. So this function is a property of this object person two. So then this refers to that. Okay, this is a definition, actual definition. So there is a shortcut is this always refers to this is a method, right? Here details is a method. This always refers to an object that comes after this dot operator. You can see if it is detail, inside this detail you use this keyword, then this represents this person one object. Okay, so like this you can inform. So right now what I'm going to do is, yes, so this here it is. So right now what we're going to do is, okay, so what we do going to do is we're going to remove this person one and we're going to add this. So why I'm adding this, because this always refers to the function that the object is, like always refers to an object that the function is property of, right? So here it is the function of person one, so it is representing person one. You can able to see it is giving me the which object that this refers to. So I'm asking dot name, so then this keyword is going to give me the name of the person, that is John. So we're going to change everything to this. Okay, everything to this. So what it will do means, while you are copying the function, you don't want to change the function. You don't want to change the function to person 2 name, person 3 name, person 4 name, like that. You don't want to touch the method, because this keyword dynamically represent the person, like where the function is property of it is going to represent. We don't want to put. So to check this, if I ask detail person 1, person 2, so remember the shortcut what I say. If you are using this keyword here, this is always refers to the function that is property of this one. So sorry, an object that the function is property of. And here it is going to represent person two. If I ask for, you can able to see it is working fine. Person name John is taken, person name Sabri is taken, and age is there, age is there. It is working fine. So this is now. Okay. So now look into the structure. Okay. Look into the structure. What is the structure that we are having? The first problem we identify is the properties are repeating again and again. I don't want to write the properties again and again. Sure. And the second one is, you can notice this. What is the difference between this function and this function? Can anyone tell? What is the difference between details function in person one and what is the difference between the detail function in person two? This refers to the current object. Yeah, and we're going to see about this keyword much more deeper. Okay, we're going to learn it. No to worry. So what is the difference? Is there any syntax difference between detail one that is inside person one, detail two that is inside person two? Is any syntax differences also there, anything like that? It seems you can see detail is there, function is there, returning this dot name, this dot age. Here it is returning this dot name, this dot age. The reason why we are using this keyword, because it is dynamic. It will take up the dynamic value. If it is this inside this object, it will take up the values from this object. If this inside this object, then it is going to take up the value from this object. But the functions, the methods are going to be exactly same, right? So exactly same. And remember that what is happening when I call just person one and person two. What is happening here is the same function, only the values are changing. The same function, only the values are changing, but the function occupied a space, a memory in this object and also this object. You can notice that, right? So it is present in this object also, and also it is present in this object also. What is mean by that? Well, it is taking up the memory here in this object also and this object also. If I create 1,000 objects, the syntax of 1,000 function is also going to be same, and it is going to take up a memory, small memory in all the 1,000 objects. This is the issue. What is the issue? Because it is taking up the memory, we need to solve this, right? So because the function, the object, the method is going to be same, depends upon which object that is calling, it will, that values are going to be changed. So I need to stop this. The memory occupation, I need to stop it, because JavaScript memory management is not handled by us, it is handled by JavaScript itself. So auto memory management, the garbage collection is happens JavaScript automatically. So we need to be more conservative when we are using the memory. So if there any repetition is there, we need to think about the memory management and we need to stop. What is the utmost method that we can use to stop the repetition? So here the repetition of name and property, I need to write it again and again. I need to stop this. And the second thing is the memory management. I need to think about the memory and I need to solve this one. Like I need to stop this detail function to accessible for everyone, but it should be stored in a memory only once, not every time the object is created. So that's how can I achieve. So the problem right now we understand the two problems. Okay. What is the two problem is here. Here it is going to be one is repetition. Whenever a repeated object is happening, I don't want to write it. Yes, through prototypes. That's what we're going to see. Okay. Repetition. And another one is going to be memory management. So in simple terms, the function occupying the memory, I need to store it in only once and I need to store it in only once. I don't want to occupy the memory again and again. That's one. And second one is I don't want to write this name and age, name and age, name and age again and again. That's one. So that is coming the next updation. So how can I solve this? The next updation is about factory function. So this is the two problem statement that we have found, and we're going to solve this two problem statement in the updated one. Okay. So we're going to see about the factory function. So what is actually factory function is? So the name itself, it is a function and it's going to act like a factory. And what it is going to produce? In this factory, we're going to produce objects like up, and like we will just pass the dynamic data and it is going to produce object. How it is working? Simple. We need to create a function. That function returns an object. Simple function. Let me name it as create object. This is going to be, or we can say create person. Okay, it is going to take up two parameters. One is name and another one is age. And here it is going to return what it is going to return. It is going to return and another object like this. So it is going to return another object. So inside this, I can write the name. It is going to be the key. And what is the value? The value is the property that we are getting. Okay, sorry, the parameters that we are getting from. So it is going to be the name. And the age is going to be the age, what we are getting from. Okay. And now this function is going to take up two values. If I pass the value, it will create an object and it will send outside to me. All right. So let me see how it is working. In JavaScript, we can able to store a function inside a variable also. So I'm just going to say const person1 person1, and here I just going to say create person. This is a function. I'm invoking a function. So if I invoke the function here, what will happen? So the return keyword return the object to this place. So now the person1 is going to be an object. So the value I want to pass here is, let me take John and give the age as 78, and let me create another function that's going to be person2. Here we can give Vikram and it is going to be 45. Like now in the console.log, if I ask person1, what is person2? Okay. If I ask it person1 before initialization. Okay, I think here, yeah, just comment of it. Okay. Now you can see what we are getting. The person1, it is an object. The name we are getting, age we are getting, and we are getting the name and we are getting the age. So now what is the another thing is going to be? So here, what is the problem that we have solved? The problem solved is repetition. What is the repetition? I'm saying every time I need to write name and age, name and age, name and age, name and age. Now I'm not writing that. I created like a factory function. Here it having the name and age, and I'm only passing the value. I don't want to copy paste and everything. I just pass the value. If I want an object, I can build it and I can use that object now, right? I can just get the object and I can pass into a factory function. It will create an object for me and it will give to me. So now the exact same object, but without the repetition we have created, right? Only passing the value. But what is the second one? It's all about memory management, right? So I need to save my memory. I don't want to repeat the again and again. Here it is repeating because the values are different. Here the function, The function is also going to be exactly same. This keyword only taking up the value dynamically. There is a difference between having the value dynamically, taking up the value dynamically, right? So here it is having value dynamically, right? Different values. Taking up the value is, it refers to something else, right? So that's different. So here, what is the thing? If I want to save a detail function, if I store here detail, it is going to be a function, okay? And here it is going to return this. Sure. If I execute it, now you can able to see the repetition of the property we controlled with the help of factory function. We have controlled it, but you can notice that still the detail function is in everywhere. It is taking up the memory in everywhere, right? So I need to solve this. There is actually two ways to solve this. One is by using create object, but that is not liked by most of the community. People go for the constructor method. Constructor method. Okay, so with the help of constructor, so it is like factory function is there. Factory function solves the work of repetition. Now constructor is going to solve the two things. One is the repetition, and another one is going to be this one. Another one is going to be how the memory we can save it with the help of constructor method. So what is constructor method? Constructor, actually constructor is a default method that is available in JavaScript, that is only constructing all the things. For example, if I write a string const a equal to, I just going to say hello, right? And now what is this? What is the data type of this? I can check console.log. What is the data type? Can you tell me what is the data type of a? It is going to be a string, right? It is going to be a string. But how it is constructed? For example, now I can use remove the type of, I can use the methods that are available for string. Dot to uppercase, right? Or to lowercase. If I use it, you can see it is comes in lowercase manner, right? I can see this, right? So you can notice that this string, it is going to be a string, but it also having how the object is having methods. You can see the detail function, right? You can pass the detail function here also. It is up to you. I'm passing it here. The functions here also. It is up to you. So you can notice that how this object, how we are access the method in object. We will say console.log person1 dot details, and we will use this invocation. Exact same syntax. Here the string is also following. A dot to lowercase with this curved braces, person1 dot detail with this curved braces. This is an object. We know that the object contains properties and methods, but here it is a string. Then how it is containing a method that is having an object? Well, it is derived as string. But what is it? It is a string object. Okay. Everything in JavaScript is going to be an object, but they are derived as string, derived as number, like that. Each and they have the derivatives. Like they, even an array is also an object. They are a special type of an object. Same like this, string is also an object. There is also a special type of an object, but they are derived as their separate data type. Depend upon how they are storing the data, they are derived, comes under the category of primitive data types. That is why they are derived. Now they have their own name, string. That is why we are selling string. But what is this? It is a string object. So how this object is constructed? If it is an object is there, if I giving the value and and something need to construct for this variable, if I want to use this method, default method, something need to construct attaching this string value to my object, default object that is already available, right? So that is what the constructor method is. So how this is happening is, you can notice this. If I type const a is equal to hello, console.log type of equal to a. If I write it, what I'm getting, I will getting the value of string. How it is producing? How it is producing means, whenever we are writing a string, okay, so this is going to be the inner thing that is happening, inner thing happening in JS. First, what will happen? JavaScript read the code. It is going to pass down the values like keywords. It is a const keyword, so it is a reserved one. So it is going to be a variable, and it is what is the name of the variable? It is going to be a, and what is the value? So and it will look for the syntax. So if the syntax is going to be enclosed with the double quotes or single quotes or backticks, then they are comes under string, right? So now JavaScript understand it is a string. So then it is going to attach this variable with the string object. How it will happen means JavaScript construct a string object when I write this. Okay. So the advanced one is shared in the chat box. People who want to fill the advanced one, you can fill it here. Okay. So two attendants will be there. One is shared and another one is will be shared later. Okay. Fill it here. If you want the participation certificate, you can fill the two. You need to fill the two attendant form. One is down in the chat box. You can fill it. Okay. So now what is this? JavaScript takes up the value and it will construct a string object for us. So how it is going to construct a string object? Well, it will use const. So once JavaScript reads the line, how the object is constructed is like this. New, it is going to be the string, and here it will store the value. And now if I ask for what is console.log a, you can notice that it is an object. So if I write this one, this is what happening in the background. Okay, if I write this one, this is what happening in the background, and you can notice that it is telling it is an object. Let's see how the string object will look like. If I save it, yes, it is a string object. If I click it, you can able to see string is also an iterable object. That is why each and every value is stored like a small index, like how the array is stored. So array is a special type of an object. String is also a special type of an object. But object and arrays comes under reference data type. Strings comes under primitive data type. Depends upon how they are storing the value. Okay, so now it is just here it is that, and now what is happening is JavaScript what it will do means once the string object is constructed, it will attach the default method that is available in this for this special type of object. So an object is already created. There is something with the help of that object, a new object is created, and that is the object that we are creating here. Okay, so the default object contains some methods. So what is that? Well, that default objects are called as prototypes. Okay, prototypes are the one with the help of this prototype only we are constructing our own object. If I am writing a program, so how it is understanding this is an object, this is an array, how the memories are stored, because and already a program is written, right? That program is called prototype. So prototype is basically for the right. So from there we are building our own program. That's what it is. Okay, so you can able to see the prototype here. The string contains a prototype. If I click here, you can able to see uh, the constructor function that is constructed an object, right? So that object contains all the methods. That default methods you can able to see here. The replace all, search, toString, two lowercase and two uppercase, so much of things is here. And how this prototype is created? Well, this prototype is created by the core object. JavaScript is a single object. JavaScript is nothing but it's a program of a single object. With the help of this object, we have different prototypes for string, for number, for like for arrays and for functions like that. We have different of another small objects. Those objects are responsible for creating like those with the help of those objects only we are creating our own object. Okay, so JavaScript is a single object. This object contains some methods and functionality. We need to see that, right? If I click this again the prototype, you can able to see this single object prototype. Inside JavaScript, it having constructor function. This is what we are looking. Has one property, is property of prototype is immutable, and you can able to see another two things, toString and value of, right? These two things, and you can able to see get underscore prototype. This is the core object, top of JavaScript. And if you go another, there is no prototype will be there, which means nothing top here. This is the core object that is used to construct everything in JavaScript. Okay, with the help of this object, there is some predefined objects are created. Why? To easy our work. For array, we have an object. For string, there is an object is there. And how these objects are created? With the default method that is available in the core object. What is the method? That is the constructor method. So the constructor method, it is a function that is used to, you can able to see in this constructor function what all other things are available here. Inside this constructor function, you can able to see. And here one of the method is the create object, I think so. Create, you can able to see the entries and so much of things. We don't want to confuse here. And this constructor method is what constructing. When I write a program, It will take up the value and it will looking for the syntax. Okay, you are a string. Then I need to attach you with the string object. Just go here and you can give access. You have access for all the string methods that are available. It is just giving access to it. And once all the string methods are attached to it, then what it will do means it will attach two string methods to convert this object into a string. And if I save it, it is showing like this. So simply you can see if I write this two line of program, we are getting the result. We are getting the result hello, right? So what are the things are happening here? The constructor method takes up the value and it constructs a string object, and this string object, it is looking the syntax. Okay, it is a string object. You can go and construct your method, takes up the value, add all the default methods that are available. Now this becomes who, like how the object, how the string is created. The string is created by a prototype. So that prototype is available. And again, once everything is attached and everything is added, then what is happening? It is converting, it is using the toString method to convert, to send the data, because we don't want the complex object to show everything as an object. If it is a string, I need to show it as a string. They are derived, they have their own identity now. Let us call with their own identity. That's what it is. Okay, so we have this and we are using their own identity. That's it. And that is how, if I ask for two uppercase or two lowercase, anything like this, what is happening? The string is not having anything, but the string object which is constructed the string, it is having the methods and properties. So what it will do? The parent. So I'm a child. My parent have money. So what I can do? I can go and get there, right? So I'm a child. So my prototype having the method. So what I can do, if something is not available for me, I will go and ask help with my prototype. If it is available there, then I can take it and I can use it. Then it will be work like, you can see everything is in lowercase. It will be work like. So this is the functionality default happen in JavaScript. So now you can see the constructor is the method that is responsible for doing this. So now what I'm going to do is, well, we're going to create our own prototype. We're going to add the method. We need to find a solution, right? We need to find the solution to stop this repetition. So what can I do now? What can I do now? Well, this is actually a prototype, right? So with the help of this function, we are creating a lot of objects, right? So it is going to act like a structure, like a blueprint. And with the use of blueprint, I'm go give the value, take up my object, give the value, take up my object. Like this, I'm going. So what can I do is, I can create a function like this. Meanwhile, instead of adding this method is occupying every time memory in my object. Instead of adding this method, I can add the method to the prototype. So which means this prototype will be created only once, but whatever, which all are the object that is created with the help of this blueprint, having access to the methods that are available in this prototype. Not only methods, functions, everything that is available in the prototype, we having access to it. So that's what it is. We're going to create a prototype. How JavaScript have their own prototype, and if I write a string, it is constructing a string and it is providing methods for the string. If I write an array, it is constructing an array and it is providing methods, default methods for the array. Same like this, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create my own prototype with the help of the constructor method, and I'm going to add which all are the methods that are repeating that should be needed for every object. I just add it to the prototype. Then the prototype will be there only once. It is created in memory only once, but it is accessible by all the child element which having. If my parents having money, I can also access. My brother can and also can get from my parents. I can get it, right. Same like this. This prototype is created 100 objects, and all the 100 objects have the right to get the data and methods that are available within this prototype. If it is not available there, that's what we are going to do now. Simply constructing a prototype, and don't care about the spelling. Prototype, and we are adding the method. So by this way, what we can solve this is, we can put the function in this prototype, means it will be created only once and all the object is going to have access to that method. That's what it is. So to achieve this, two possible ways is there. One is to use the object.create method. So that will be also create and reference of object, but the community is ignored. It is like pretty complex oriented and not that much object oriented one. So People will use constructor method, which means the prototypal one, and we will create it. Now we will see this, how we can see this. So how we can create the constructor method is just say const, sorry, it's going to be a function, same like how this function was, it will be that, but here the this place and this keyword going to play an important role. Okay, so for differentiate a normal function from a constructor function, you can use caps letter in constructor function. So I just going to say create person, or you can say create employee or create anything like that. Okay, so which is going to helpful. Let us comment off this one, and here it is going to contain again the same name and then age. So for differentiation only, here we'll be having the caps letter. Okay, and now we are having this. Okay, and here I just going to say const person one, create person. I just going to say John and then 78 like this. Okay, and here what I'm going to do is, here we are using the this keyword. Okay, so before we going to use the this keyword, let me ask you a question. If you know the answer, kindly let me know. If I ask console.log this, what this keyword refers to? Okay, here I'm asking console.log this, the this is going to run because here it is invoked. I'm asking, I just remove this one right now. Okay, and I just going to put this console.log and I just going to paste it here. Tell it in the chat box. If I run this function, even I don't want to pass any argument here also, for simple. Now tell what this is a function. The function contains this keyword inside this function. What the this keyword refers to. Okay, kindly tell it in the chat box if you know the answer, or else tell anything like guess anything. If you don't know also, guess anything, that is fine. Okay, kindly guess it. No guesses? Okay, let me tell you. So what I said, what is the definition that I given to you? This, and I think someone says Krishnan says this refers to the current object. Any guesses from your side? You can tell it, then it will be fine. Or you can tell it in the chat box. I will continue the class. So simple. So here, what I say, this is always refers to an object that the function is property of. It is going to refers to an object that is the function is property of one thing. Okay. So here you can see, here it is a function, and I said that the function where it is a property, which means if the function is inside an object, line 100 0, it is going to be an empty object. Rajkumar, okay. So this refers going to be an empty object. Can you tell me why empty object? You can tell your answer, Rajkumar. Sorry, Ranjit Kumar. Okay, you can tell that why it is an empty object. You can tell it. Okay, I always says that this is always refers to an object where the function is property of. Here the function is that, but this function is not inside an object, right? This function like this, right? Here this function is inside this object. So this refers to that particular object. We can say undefined. Okay, so we can say like this, but here there is no object is there, right? And also I said and another shortcut also. What is the shortcut I said? The shortcut is this refers to somewhere I will put a dot, and this refers to the object that comes before the dot operator, right? I will say that. So let me see what we are getting. Yes, we are getting undefined. Why we are getting undefined? Because we haven't assigned an object to it. So now let us do one thing. I'm just going to say const person like this. Here we invoke it. Okay, here we invoke this here, and let me ask console.log person one. Let me do here or instead this return this. Okay, like this. So save and or we can do one thing. I will show you the normal example. Okay, like this. And here let me invoke as the console.log this. Okay, okay, okay. So now can you tell anyone what is happening here? I created again the same, created the function, created the function. You can see what we are getting. I said that this is always refers to the, or you can say like this, const person equal to person1, and here I just say console.log what is person1, what it is returning, that is going to be the person1, and here it is not returning anything, so we are asking person1, we are getting windows. What is this windows object, and why does this refers to windows object? Why this is refers to windows object? Why this is refers to windows object? Because I said that the function is always refers to, sorry, this always refers to an object that the function is property of. Here you can see this, this person is not inside any object, then why it is refers to windows object? The answer is there itself, because here it is not inside an object that we created, but the windows object is going to be the global object. Whatever the global things that you are writing here in this document, it will be added to that global object, right? It will be added to that global object. For example, if you click on this window, you can able to see the create function where it is ordered, it is added here. So normally we are, whenever we are writing things, there is a prefix there, that is a windows. For example, if I calling person, right, if I calling this function, this one like create function, right, so what is actually how we need to call actually window dot person object, right, create person function. So now if I call it, still we are getting the same answer. There is no error is throwing. Why? Because windows is the global object where the global variable, where whatever we are declared globally, it will go and store inside that particular object. So the thing is, here the function is also inside an object. That object is windows object. So this always refers to function. This refers to an object that the function is property of. Here the function is property of a Windows object. The function is property of this Windows object. One thing. And another thing, you can always note that this always refers to this dot operator. This Windows object, like dot of before what the object is coming, dot operator, it is going to refer to the shortcut. So here we are having this. So this is the thing. So now what I'm going to do, I just going to say const person equal to create person, and I'm passing the name as John and the passing the value as 67, and here I just going to say name, and then it is going to be age. Okay, so now what I want to do, I need to construct an object. That object should come and store inside this portion. So like we need to return an object, that's what it is, right? So here how the constructor method is working means, we need to use, this is a syntax, I will explain you. This dot name equal to name that we are getting. Okay, and here this dot age equal to age that we are getting from this parameter. So now tell me that what will happen when I call console.log person, right? So this right now refers to which one? Windows object, right? So I'm telling that this dot name is going to be name, this dot age is going to be age. So what is that? Inside Windows, I'm changing the object. So if I save it here, I'm looking for window. Just for example, I just opening the Windows also. Windows. Click on this. You can notice that whatever the value that I given inside this object, the parameter John and age, you can like name and age, you can able to see that name and age is added to the Windows object. You can see age 67 is here, and we can able to see the name. If you scroll down here, the name is there. But is that it need to add to Windows, or it need to comes inside this person? We need to add the name and person in Windows object, or we need to add it inside this person object. What is this person is returning? The person is returning undefined, because we are not getting any input from the function. Nothing is returning, right? Because we don't use any return keyword. And then how can we achieve this? Right now, the this refers to the Windows object. I need to stop it. The this I don't want to refer to the Windows object. This need to refers to the object where the function is invoked. Okay, where the constructor function is invoked. Who is calling that? I need to change it, right? So I need to change the scope of this keyword. I need to change the dynamic the object city that it contains. I need to change it. What can I do? Well, for that only we have this new keyword. If I put this new keyword, what this new keyword is going to do means new keyword change the reference that what this refers to. Now that this is not refers to Windows object, it is going to refers to this person where the function is going to call it. Okay, so which means right now if I call it, it will refers to this object. Now if I save this one, you can notice that this person is created. Don't care about this create person. It is a prototype that is created. The returning is this one. Now you can see this dot name, this refers to person, this refers to person. So person dot name is the name that we given, person dot age is the age that we given. So if I ask for person dot name, so now what this refers to, what refers to, it is referring to the object that where it belongs to, right? So this is going to refers to the this person object. So this new keyword only changing it. You can see this. If I ask for console.log, it will produce me that constructor function. It will, you can, where I can 1 2 console 3 console. Yeah, this keyword you can see this is refers to that particular object who is called that particular object it is referring to. If I put this console in the top, now you can see it is an empty object that it is refers to. Now, now with the new keyword, so what is happening? It is referring to the object that is constructing. So this person is an empty object. It is does not contain anything. But here I added the property. Once the property is added, now that this refers to that the added property object, right? But without this new keyword, if I remove this new keyword, this refers to the Windows object. If I just save it, you can see cannot read the property of undefined. If it is undefined, then how can I say this first now? It is refers to Windows. And if I asking for again this dot name, this dot age is set to the Windows object, and here I am asking for person dot name. There is no person dot name because it is an undefined, right? So you need to put a new keyword while you are constructing this. So this new keyword, that is why the new keyword is pretty complexity. We should not use the new keyword. You can go for any documentation. We can able to create a object, sorry, a string with normal declaration and also a string with constructor type. But in string with constructor type, we will use the new keyword. So the new keyword, they will mention it as new keyword is a pretty complex one, and it will slow down the process of working. So you should not use the new keyword. It will automatically happens in your background. Like that, they will have a definition. Watch it in W3 school or any other things. It will have a definition. String, just roll down at the last of string. They will give this. Don't use this method like that. They will give you that. Okay. So what is happening? This new keyword is going to change the scope of the this. So the this refers to the object that is who calling it, invoking it. Okay. So simply this is a only one dynamic keyword. It always refers to the, it always refers based upon where they are invoked. It depends. Here it is inside this only, but it is invoked. It is invoked in the person. So it is going to refers to the person who invoked it. We will consider this pretty different. Okay. Right now, this is what it is. So now we have constructed the function, right? We have constructed the function, and if I want to add a new thing inside this one, that is not possible. If I say like this dot experience, okay, or I can say like create person dot I want to add a new one, experience, okay, and experience is equal to, I can say like null, like this. Okay, now if I save it and if I ask for person one, you can able to see this particular thing is not yet added anywhere, right? It is not yet added, so this is not possible. In normal object it is possible. So if you want to add anything inside this prototype, then you need to use dot prototype, and if you add this, it will comes into the prototype. We will discuss that later. We will solve our issue, then we will go other issue. So what is the next issue? The function. Now the object is created exactly how the factory function is created. Same like this object is also created. Now the next problem, I need to save the memory. How can I store? Well, let I put here this dot details. Okay, details. It is going to be a function, and if I say return, okay, and this dot name, I just say returning this dot name like this. Okay, sorry, going to be curly braces. Okay, and if I saving this, you can able to see we are having the function here. If I create another object that's with person one, now is also having another object, right? So here also having the function, here is also having the function, the same issue what we faced in the factory function. So what I can do is, you can able to see the prototype, right? So prototype, what you are getting the, what is the prototype that has created this object. So these objects are created by a prototype called create person, name and age. So you can see create person, name and age. So this is the prototype that is creating this object, many objects we are creating. So what can I do is, instead of this is created only once in memory, only objects are creating every time that dynamic values. The structure is going to be same. It is prototype. It's going to be same. The object with the dynamic data are passed. For the data, a new object, instance of object is created, right? It is going to create like that. It is what creating. So what can I do is, well, I can add the method to this prototype. Instead of adding the method to this object, take, you have all the things common. You all people have common things. Why are you keeping yourself everything keeping yourself? I will take it. So we will add everything in this prototype. Everything is will be there in this. The method is going to be common for here, and whenever someone wanted, they can go and they can use this. That's what it is. So the thing is, we're going to add this one, not here, to this prototype. You can able to see the prototype place, right? So right now only constructor method is there. When I use the new keyword, then it is representing a constructor method. So the constructor method is we created our own constructor method for our own object, which means a prototype is created for our own object. Now here I need to add something new. How can we add it? Well, if you want to add something to the prototype, call the prototype, create person is my prototype, dot use the prototype dot, and you can use the name. What is the property that you're going to add inside this? So the name is going to be details, details. And what is this? This is going to be a function. That function is going to return, what it is going to return, this one, right? And if I save this, you can see no changes has happened. Here we have person with name and age. Here we have person with name and age. But you look into the prototype, you can able to see among this constructor function, this is a default function. With the help of this only, we created the prototype. Among this constructor function, there is another function is also added to the prototype. That is the prototype that we created, that is detail. So this prototype is common for all the, like this detailed prototype, it is right now added to the prototype. It is going to common for all the object that is created based on this prototype. So they can use it and they can accept it. But you can notice one thing, the function is not taking up the memory in my object. See, it is not taking up the memory here, it is not taking up the memory here. So now what I can do, I can go into ask for details. And if I run this, is that person is having any detailed method? You can see no, it contains only name and age. No detailed method is there. Then what will happen? Well, if I don't have, I will go and ask with my parent who created me. So if the object is not having that method, it will go to the prototype who created it and I ask for the method whether you have this method or not. If the method is there, then it will take up the method and it will execute according to their own data. If it is not, then we will get a reference error. If I run this, you can see my name is John and I'm getting the age, and I just say details, and you can able to see we are getting this. So here what has happened? What just happened? Here the function is not taken up the memory. Okay, name, age and name. The function is not take up the memory, and also the repetition is also stopped. We are writing the name and age again and again. No, we are just passing the dynamic value and what is the object that is going to have the value, person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, anything that is going to take up the value. So we created a common prototype, a blueprint for our object, and for this blueprint we added the common methods. Here we created a common method that should be available for all the object that created with the instance of this blueprint. So now we are giving the common access method. So this function is created only once when the blueprint is, when the prototype is created, it will be created only once. One only once it is created, but all the object can access it whenever it needs it. It will come, it will go to the top of the prototype chain and it will accept it. Like that, it will access it. So this way, yes, we're going to have a break within 2 hours, 2 hours. Like you will get at I think 3, 4, 5, and then 5 we have break, and then another we're going to have 7 hours. Okay. So what is happening here? The prototype we are having here, and we are accessing it. That's it. So the problem is solved, right? So what is the problem that we faced? Repetition solved even in factory function. Memory management, we need to save up the memory as whenever the repetition is happening. We saved the memory and you can able to see the prototype. It is added to the prototype. We saved the memory. Clear? Okay, where is classes? Where is classes? Classes is not here. What happened for classes? We have constructed method. Constructed method is also solved with this. Then what is about classes? Where is classes? Now classes is here, right? Then why I want to use this classes? See, every problem is solved. Then we have one more problem. What is the problem? Syntax. Look at the syntax using this keyword. Using this keyword, constructor method, having accessible to the prototype. Not only this, this also with the help of, if you use this dot prototype method, it will not, this dot prototype is not only a method that user to change your prototype. You can able to change the default prototype that is already available. Okay. For example, I'm going to say const a equal to new date. Okay, is going to be new date, right? And if I just going to say console.log, what is a? We are getting this one, right? So we are going to say constructor method. Let me ask the date, new date. Let me ask here. Let me check date constructor. Okay, we having this one. So how can I go for this? How can I look into the prototype new date? How can we see this new date prototype? We having result. What can I do? What can we do? We can ask new. state here dot prototype, or I can go here underscore underscore. Let me explain. Yeah. Okay. So what this underscore underscore proto will do means it will give you the method that is constructed. Okay. So how this date object we see now, there is always a prototype will be there, and that is only constructing all our, if I write something, all our date, string, everything, right? So here we are having this new date dot underscore underscore proto, right? So this is the prototype that is constructed, and you can able to see all the thing, right? Get date, get full year, and get hours, and get year, right? So you have get year is there. If I want to get the last year, there is no last year method is there, right? I can able to create my own prototype. I can able to add prototype to this default also. How? We can simply say, you can see there is no last method, last year date is there, right? I can, how can I say? I can going to say date dot prototype dot last year. You can just take up the full year and you can divide it. Right now I just say 1, and if I save it here, now if I click it, you can see the last year is coming here, right? So what is happening? I'm changing the core default methods that are available. The default methods, these are default methods, right? Already available in the it is created by the data object. So data object contains these default methods. I can able to change it. Even not only this, if I give the already available get it, okay, get year, okay, like this, get day, like this. So what we are changing? We are changing. You can see that get day is now changed into the number. We are changing the default prototype. This is so dangerous. So you should not manipulate the default prototype. If you want your, you can manipulate your own prototype anyhow. You created a prototype, you can add any method. But there is a default method is available. You should not manipulate it. Then JavaScript is going to perform vigorously. Like you should not touch the core programming language and change it, right? You need to give a request, and the request is accepted by them, then only you need to do it. You should not change it in your program as much you want it. You should, this is not a way to do it. Okay. So this prototype directly giving access to any prototype that is available. So you can see right now the get day is normally coming. So it is directly giving access to. So there is a high possibilities we can able to access the default prototype and we can able to change it. That is dangerous. That we should not do this. So that is why we should not use this. And also look at the syntax, like I say, function, this keyword, so much of things, like pretty hard to understand, right? So that is why we have the classes. So what you're saying that the classes is just a syntactic sugar, for this constructor function. That method is called as prototypes. Okay, that is the prototypal method. Classes, and you can see some other programming languages, right? So programming languages, classes are actual concepts. They are not something like how constructor method, prototype methods are there, factory functions are there, and objects are there. Like that, classes is also an actual concept. But in JavaScript is not, remember the word clearly. People from around, like they will confuse. JavaScript is an object oriented programming language. So we have classes. So we are using the classes to create object oriented programming language. That is true. But JavaScript is not a class based object oriented programming language. JavaScript is not a class based object oriented programming language. Objects here created or based upon the prototypes. So this class here, it is a syntactic sugar for that prototype. So it is not a class-based object-oriented programming language. But why we are having class? Classes is act like a syntactic sugar, very simple. But other programming language, classes is an actual concept that is producing the object. Here is also classes is going to produce object, but not as a class-based object programming. Under the hood, it is act like a syntactic sugar under the hood. the default prototype functionality is going to run. Then why they named it as classes? To look similar other programming language also classes. If we have also classes, then it will be easy to write to construct an object. But the other programming having classes, they have their own concept and methods. In JavaScript having classes, it is a syntactic sugar. In the background, the prototype is what running without using the prototype words. We are running it. Okay. So to clear your doubt, just go say JavaScript object oriented programming. Okay. I can ask for JavaScript class object oriented programming. Object oriented programming is a style based on class and objects. These data and methods are available and more flexible to easier them to maintain. So that is what the first problem, structuring the things that we have discussed. And there are object oriented things will be there. Okay. Oops, without classes. Okay. Okay. But JavaScript hasn't classes. Many developers do not consider JavaScript a true object-oriented language. Why it is not considered as a true object-oriented language? Uh, it is lack of class concept, because that is we don't have any class concepts. We can able to perform object-oriented, the OOPS concept, the four pillars of OOPS, we can able to perform, but not with the help of classes, with the help of prototypes, right? So it does not enforce complaints and object-oriented principles. So that is why we will say that not an object oriented programming language, object based programming language, but not JavaScript is not a class based object oriented programming language. MTN free doc, I think free code camp here, someone has written here. Okay, you can see JavaScript is not a class based object oriented programming language, class based, but still we can able to use OOPS concept here with the help of this prototype, not with the help of classes. Okay, you can see here. The tutorial will explain the OOPS concept. We can use this. There is a way, and there is something here. But I mentioning JavaScript isn't a class-based programming language. It is a prototype-based. But the using the prototype, it will leads to changing the default prototype. So we will add the syntax similar to other programming language. It's like a bit of cheating, adding the syntax same like having other static programming language has. We are adding that. So then it is easy to maintain. But at the back of it, what is happening? Prototype is running, not a class-based object-oriented is running. So that's what it is. And I think OOPS concept everyone is familiar of. You can have a look into this, the four abstract, extraction, like that. You can just look into that one. That's what it is. So this is the one thing that I want to clear. So here we are using classes, right? These classes are going to be act like an object oriented, no, as a syntactic sugar, okay, for the prototype base, okay. Then why they are used classes to make it complicate? No, not to make it complicate, like to for other the developers who are seeing, when they see classes, they will identify, okay, classes are used to create objects. But here prototype are creating objects, classes acting like a syntactic sugar. Even they don't know this, they can use it. That's the thing. Okay. So here, if you want to write a class, just call the name class, no function, and give what is the name you want to give for your class. It's going to be create person, and that's it. Create person, and here it is. That's what the class's syntax is going to be, because two things we need to solve: syntactic sugar, and I don't want to use this complex. What I can say, the complex prototypal words and everything. It should be very simple. So here classes is there. Classes are used to construct prototype. Okay, construct a blueprint for an object. So here in prototype, what we need a constructor to construct all our data. So we have this constructor method. This will store all this will store all our data, which means the properties. So whatever the data that we need, well, the name and age, and how we can get this in right now, it is going to act like a constructor. I can simply say this dot name is going to be the name, this dot age equal to age, right? You can see this constructor is same, the constructor we have created it, but I need to add this method without using this prototype. How can we add this? Simply this classes is the face of prototype. So now we having the constructed method to store our data. So whatever the method that you want to add it here, you can add it, but you don't want to use the function keyword and everything. You can add directly like this. details is the name, and I need to add it like this. And here you can return whatever you want to return. In my case, the returning is going to be this. Rank is going to be this. You just comment up, I think create person. No error is throwing. Okay. Just comment up this one. And now I ask create const person equal to, you can use new keyword, that is must, because inside that also a constructor is there, and you can pass the data here. Okay. Now what's happened? Whatever the data that you're passing, this constructor method, it will takes up the data and it is forming a properties for us, and this is going to add it to the prototype. The methods are added to this constructor is also available only in prototype. What it is constructing, that is available inside this person, and this person is available here. The new keyword is responsible for the whatever it is constructing, it will need to store it. The new keyword changing the scope and it is storing the exact same concept. Okay. And if I ask for console.log, what is person? Go here, create person, name and age is there, click here. Without using the prototype keyword, what we have did, we have added the detail function to the prototype. So simply whatever you are adding here, it will goes inside the prototype. If I add length, okay, let me add the like sorry, okay, it be add like this, and it is going to return what we can say like true, something like this, we can return it. And now let us go here, and you can able to see another function. That function is contain the length the value that we are giving here. So you can able to see the length function is here. If you invoke this, and you are getting the value to here, and all the other things will be added here, right? So that's what you need to do. And okay, we will do this later. Okay, so that's same thing. So what is the problem that we face? The problem we faced is using the prototype, it is not that good. So right now, the commonly used other programming languages are also using classes. So let us take up the syntax and we will do our prototype work in the background. So the same prototype work is happening in the background with the different syntax. That's what classes is doing, much more neater and much more cleaner. This what classes is. Then what is about classes inheritance? Well, first thing first, we write the lame program as it is. Then we started to structure the code. Then the same structure I need to write it again and again. The same object structure, write it again and again. So that is why the problems are came. That we are achieving the we are having the problem that there only, right? The memory is occupied, and also the thing, the same structure I need to occupy. So that is the thing. So now what I want to do is I created a prototype. What if I want to create a repeated prototype with the same structure? For example, like this. Instead of person, I can say like create employee, like this, right? You can able to see this is also containing name and age. This is also containing detail method. So what is the problem is happening now? So the problem is happening now is two prototypes. The prototype structures are going to be same. Here also the same property, the repetition is happening. Here also the repetition is happening. The same method is available here. The same method is available here. That is the problem. The same problem that we face when we create two objects. The property syntax is repeating. The same method is available, occupying space there, space here. So what happened during that time? You may think like, okay, why we need to compare prototypes? How many prototypes we going to create? For a normal uh, project, we don't want prototype. Without prototype, we can go for it and we can create it. Think about an application that you're going to create that is used by a million users. So every user's data that you want to get it and store it, and you need to display it as soon as like that, right? And the methods also need to be available. Let's think about the memories. Think about how many prototypes that is possible we will create that times, right? So now what is happening is again that same two problem: repetition, memory. Here the constructor function already having name and age. The same name and age here is also coming. Let me say like const employee equal to new create employee. This is going to be let's go with check and then 78 like this. And if I ask for console.log, what is employee? If I run it, you can see the constructor is there, detail is there. Here also constructor is there, detail is there. What is the difference between this function and this function? Absolutely not. No other difference. Only the data are changing. What is the difference between this constructor and this constructor? Absolutely not. Only the data is changing. Then why I want to write it again? We need to sort it out, right? So this is called as prototypal inheritance. Okay. So that is near. We can achieve the same thing with writing prototype also, but don't test the prototype right now. Just leave it. So that is prototypal inheritance is what called as classes inheritance. So what does mean everything outside constructor is a class created inside prototype class? This means, so what means everything outside constructor, which means you are having this, you are asking about this one, right? So class, yes. So we can say class is going to be act like a syntactic work here. So what is added? So simply we are adding it to the prototype, and this method we are writing the like this instead of writing the syntax, we are using the classes to add the method to the prototype. So whatever we are writing outside this constructor, they are going to be added to the prototype. The classes is doing that. The classes is doing that, but how? With prototype inheritance, not class based inheritance. Okay, not the the default class program. Here we don't have class based, so with same class based inheritance we are using it. Okay, so that's what it is. So here, like this is what running actually, but we don't want this syntax, so we avoided it and we are using the newer syntax. That's what it is. Okay, so right now if I want to create an inheritance, which means replica, the two problem arise, same memory, same memory, same repetition, same memory repetition. So that is what class inheritance. So class inheritance, exact same prototypal inheritance. Okay, I need to replicate a prototype. That's what a prototype inheritance. So we are not using the prototype keyword and so much of the prototypes dot prototype and so much of things. So to avoid those complexity, we are using classes. So right now we are calling it as a class inheritance. That's what it is. Okay, so now if you want to achieve the class inheritance, then how can we achieve? I need to inherit the methods and the the properties that is already available in that particular uh, prototype to the prototype that I want to create. That's what it is. So I need to create a prototype based on another prototype. How can I create? Well, class, what is the prototype name? The prototype name is going to be create employee. Employee is going to be my prototype, and where it is, which prototype base I need to create the same structure. So I just want to say extend of create person. So I'm telling that, hey, I'm going to create my own prototype. That one prototype is a replica. It's going to be a exact. It is going to follow the exact same structure of create person with some added methods and properties. Okay. Now I just create here. Okay, and here I just use the again constructor method. We need name, age, let me say we need experience also here. Okay, and notice that this name and age is already created in person create person, so I don't want to write it again. So what you can do is you can able to access, right now you can able to access this whatever the methods and function that is available in this create person, you can able to access it. How? With the use of a method called super. Just want to write super and tell about what all are the properties that you want to access. The properties is going to be name and age. Okay, because this name and age is already having the structure, right? The structure is already available in my prototype. Here you can see it is already available. I don't want to write it again, this dot name, this dot age. That is what I need to stop. So I can simply say super. Super means it is going to take up the value from the parent. So the prototype where we are creating our own prototype, name and age. Okay, and we created this, And for experience, we don't have any syntax available in parent, so I need to create. So what I'm going to do, for experience, I can say this dot exp equal to exp. Okay, right now we don't have any exp passed in the argument. We can pass it here, like 7 years of experience. We passed it here. Now if I ask what is employee, you can able to see name is here, age is here, experience is also here. Without writing this dot name, this dot age, how it is happening? Because the super method is going to take up the syntax for us and it is going to say. Right now it is only one, two, name and age is there, so it look like simple. Remember that you having an object that contains 15 data, then every time you need to write it again and again. Remember that whenever there is a repetition is happening, high possibility you're going to mess up with an error. Okay, so like we have a method to stop repetition, we can use it. That's the thing. That's a good idea in code. That's the thing. Okay, so we just created a constructor, and if I just look into this prototype, you can see create employee is the prototype that is created this person. And if I click here, you can able to see the constructed method of create employee inside the prototype. And this create employee is created from which prototype? Create person, right? Because we can able to access the methods that are available in create person. Then means this is created by this, right? So I just go to the top of the prototype and look it. Then you can see we have the constructor method and detail. So what is mean by this? The mean is you can able to access the detail method in this employee object also. So if I ask for details now, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? That object is not going any method with the details. So it will ask for its prototype. So this object is not having the detail method. It will ask for its prototype. Hey, you have any detail? Here you can see there is no method is added. So no, I don't have. Then what will happen? It will move on to the another top prototype chain. Hey, you have detail. It will go and ask for it. Yes, I'm having detail. Okay, I need it. Can I use it? Yes, you can use it. Now if I save it, you will get hi name psych and my name is 70. Right? They are accessing it. So basically, and also you can able to see if I want instead of details, if I want to string, if I using something like to string method, okay, you can see string. You can see we are getting object. So what is happening? This toString method will also work. Why? Because this toString method is available in the core JavaScript object that is created everything. We can able to accept it and we can use it. And the prototype, we can able to access it and we can use it. For example, you can see this is the prototype, and inside this prototype, this is the prototype that is using, right? We can able to access this prototype, right? You can able to see is prototype of method, right? We can use this one. How? For example, I'm going to use employee is there, and I'm going to use this method is prototype of, okay, basically it will return a boolean value. You can tell me, so employee is a prototype of create employee. We can ask like this. Let me check it. Okay, if I ask like this, is prototype, okay, I think I just want to use the method properly. Is prototype. Prototype. Okay. You can see false. It is telling that it is not, the employee is not a prototype of create employee, which means it is an instance, not a prototype. So how can I do this means? How can I check to get it true? Well, this create person is a prototype of, like, is going to be created as the create employee, right? So what can I say? Instead of employee, I will put this create person. You can see we are getting true. Why? How we are getting true? So the thing is, create person is the prototype that is constructed this create employee. That is why it is telling it is true. This person, this prototype only created true. But how I access this is prototype? Well, this is prototype is available in the core JavaScript. Anyone, wherever we are writing, if just a simple thing, if I created a string, I can able to access all the string methods. So all the strings have accessibility to all the string methods. If I created a number, I can able to access all the number methods because which all are the objects created based on a prototype, those objects have access to that method. Same like this, there is a default object is there. This is common for everyone. Anyone can access it. Anyone can access it and anyone can use it. That is why this toString method, the value of method is commonly available for all the data types. You don't want to create by your own and everything. You can able to change an object to a string. You can able to change array to a string. You can able to change a number to a string by using this toString method and toValue of method. Why? Because it is available in the core JavaScript object. You can access it and you can use it, right? So this is what it is. I hope that it will be clear. So this is all about factory function, constructor function, prototype, prototypal inheritance, classes inheritance, and this is actually how you can create an instance of object and you can work with multiple datas to keep it structured and everything. That's what it is. Nothing special. Okay. So at last, classes is going to be a syntactic sugar. Whatever you are writing inside the constructor, it will be takes place like sex, right? So it will be takes place inside the. It will consider a certain object. It will be stored, and outside the constructor, whatever we are writing, it is added to the prototype, and that is all our methods. We can put all the default methods to save up our memory. We can add it. Class inheritances, blueprint copying. Okay, object copying. For copy the instance of object, we can create classes, and to create the instance of classes, we have the inheritance. Okay, so we don't want to write it the method and again. We can simply use the keyword extend and super. Extend keyword is going to add the prototype chain for this to this, and super keyword giving access to all the methods and properties that are available. Then I don't want to write all the methods again and again. I can use it. That's what simple thing. Okay. So just have a look into again, it will be a clear. If you have any doubts, tell it in the chat box because classes is over. Class based this topic class is over. Okay. We have another 2 hours to cover another classes. Okay. If you have any type, you can tell it in the chat box. We will look into that and we quickly jump into some. This is pretty hot, right? So we're going to see about some very basics methods that are available. We're going to look into that. And ES6 concept we're going to look in. After that, we will jump into asynchronous. Again, knowledge heavy one. Asynchronous is also a knowledge heavy one. Okay. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. You can watch the recordings, it will be there also. If you have to recall this one. Okay. So let us jump into ES6. So actually, what is ES6 is? So ES6 is considered as the modern JavaScript. So what is when we modern JavaScript? It is something a different JavaScript? No. So what is actually ES is? ES, yeah, okay. So ES is actually going to be an 𝐏𝐚𝐫𝐭𝐢𝐜𝐚𝐫 What is 𝐏𝐽 Can anyone? What is 𝐏𝐽 Tell it in the chat box. I think I covered this 𝐏𝐽 in the basic classes also. Can anyone know what is 𝐏𝐽? Tell it in the chat box. Oh. Okay. This is covered. We're going to see about ES6 method and everything. Okay. There we go. ES6 𝐏𝐽. No one know? Okay, we can go and I will tell you what is 𝐏𝐽 and everything is. People will confuse 𝐏𝐽 is another name for JavaScript. Wrong. ECMAScript is going to be another programming language. Wrong. Both are wrong. Okay. So ECMAScript is actually JavaScript. Again, wrong. Then what is actually ECMAScript is? ECMAScript is going to be European Computer Manufacturing Association, ECMA, ECMA, European Computer Manufacturing Association. It's an association actually. Okay. Script is the rules formed by that association. What is the rules they form? Well, JavaScript is the one and only language that is understandable by the browser, and it will work based upon the browser. How? How? This question will be comes to everyone, right? How JavaScript can able to perform, manipulate HTML and CSS? Why not Java? Why not other programming language that can run it in the front end without using the server? How can it is possible? Only JavaScript. Because JavaScript is also not understandable by the browser. Okay. And then how it is using? Well, JavaScript, what is the language that we are writing for? At last is going to be an English language. We're going to write it in the code. Okay, we are writing languages in English. Then how the browser is understanding? Because we know that computer is at last going to understand zeros and one, and the browser is also going to do that. Then how it is going to be understand that one? Well, each and every browser has a JavaScript engine. Okay, we are not having Python engine, we don't have any Java engine, we don't have any other engine. Right now only Python coming into front, but JavaScript is always that, right? So we don't have any engines like that. So the engines are created by who? The browser companies created their own engine. Browsers, again, who? Google, Firefox, Safari, Brave, they are, right? So they created their own engine to understand a programming language. Seems a little bit different, right? So basically, we create programming language to understand computers, servers, database, right? But these engines are built to understand a programming language, then understand the power why JavaScript is playing an important role in the front end, right? Because before JavaScript, there is no dynamicity is in the website. Every whatever you interact, you if you click anything or you interact with the website, that will handle by the server. Then you can probably come up with most of the errors like bandwidth reach, uh, server busy, internet network down, so much of things, right? So those all are happening. Why? And you cannot access the website because the limit reach, bandwidth reach, like that, right? So in like right now also it's still it is that, but we cannot see that much we seen it before JavaScript. The reason why is whatever the interaction, if you simply go and click any button, that will handle by the server before JavaScript. It need to travel through the internet wires, and it need to go for the database, and it need to produce an entire new page for you. That's what it will need to do this, right? That's what happening before. That is why the before websites look a pretty green light one, right? That, right? No interactivity will be there. Okay, that is actually a website is there before 1995. How the websites are there, you can go and check it. Whatever interaction that you are making, everything the page will reload. It will go hand. It will take some time to update your page and everything. Then the JavaScript is came without involvement of the server. You can able to change the particular thing, right? You can, if you click the button, the particular div will be open, close. The particular, well, for small action, we don't want to go for the server. Only when the server is needed, we can take the server, or else we can do everything with JavaScript. Like that it came. So that's why the JavaScript, the browser of JavaScript, they created their own engine to convert the JavaScript in code into a normal browser understandable code. Okay, so they created their own engine. Well, then who created the first JavaScript engine? The person who created JavaScript, the person who created the first JavaScript engine. Then only he can able to uh, like check whether the JavaScript is working or not, right? So he created his own engine. That engine is created for Brendan Eich. His name is Brendan Eich. He created JavaScript in 10 days, and JavaScript is an inspiration of object-oriented programming language Java, and then function-oriented programming language Schema. So JavaScript is not only a function-oriented programming language, not only an object-oriented programming language. In JavaScript, you can perform both. Okay, it is an inspiration of Java and Schema. The classes are avoided purposely. The reason is if we added classes right now itself, if the name JavaScript, okay, so they added, so it is also like Java, everyone having the situation, right? So that is the reason they purposely avoided the classes in JavaScript, because if we added it means people will think like it is another thing that will exactly work like Java like that. Okay, so and it is a marketing purpose also, they will added it that there is whole theory is that, but the Brendan Eich is telling that it is an inspiration. JavaScript is created inspired by Java and then schema, because both language, object-oriented programming languages speak that, and function-oriented is much more powerful while executing. So it is inspired by two languages, and he incorporated and a language that should run in the browser, not in the server, to run in the browser. So it is a scripting language, not a programming language. So it will run for a particular purpose, not for to solve any other purpose. It's for particular purpose. So it is a scripting language. So he created his own engine. That engine is going to be that engine is going to be created. The first engine he created is called Spider Monkey. That is right now used in Firefox, but before it was used by Netscape, the famous browser, right? So before we have it. So that's what it is. Netscape is the company. For the company, he created JavaScript engine. Okay. So right now we have several engines. V8 engines. V8 engine is created by Google developers to convert JavaScript code into misunderstandable, like browser understandable code. And Spider Monkey is the engine created by Brendan A. That is used by Firefox. That is used to convert JavaScript code into Firefox. Sorry, the browser Firefox created, like they will convert it. Likewise, each and every browser have their own engine. They are going to convert it. So it depends upon what method they are using, how well they are write the code. The conversion speed will be higher, right? So if I create a application, a streaming application, and you are creating your own streaming application, and like that, and like that, you also creating like that. For example, you also creating your own programming language. Your streaming application, right? We cannot expect my streaming application is also going to perform exactly same like your streaming application. We cannot say Hotstar is performing the same like Netflix, right? So the speed is different. Uh, how it is working, the Spotify is differ compared to other audio things, right? The same like this, right? So here is also it is going to be differ from each and everything. Okay, so it's going to be differ. So how it is differing? All the application is going to stream the things. By how it is differing? The way they are using the methods, the way they are using the things, right? So that is why it is differing. Same like this, these engines are like also a program, right? It is a software. They are created to convert JavaScript code into browser understand, like byte codes, machine understandable, low level programming language code. So this will be also different according to the person, according to the companies they will created it, right? So each and every company use different methods. I need to ask another question. If I created an application, you created an application, can we expect both will run exactly the same, exactly same, exact same time, same speed, same, what can I say? How it will work perfectly like that? Can we say that? For example, let me put like this way. Android phone is also having cameras, iPhone is also having cameras, right? So is that both are going to take up the picture. The work is to take up the picture. And let me consider 200 megapixel, 200 megapixel. Both cameras are having. Can we tell that Android phone 200 megapixel gives the same quality what iPhone is going to give? Can we expect that one? The same result from two products, even though they are going to perform the same thing. Can we expect like this? Is that possible? Is that true? It will be work exactly same. Any answers? Tell in the chat box. We have like for example, Google have their voice assistants, Sri, I think so, and Alexa we have Alexa also. Both are going to be a voice assistant. Can we expect both are going to perform exactly the same? If I give the same input, same output I will receive. I will ask Alexa to tell a joke. Can we expect? No, right? Yes. Thank you, Gopi Krishnan. So it is not. It is going to give a same result, right? Same like this. I have a JavaScript file, and Google have their own software to convert JavaScript to bytecode, misunderstandable code. Firefox have their own software to convert misunderstandable code. Then let me put this way: the same input is given for all the browser, but the software who's converting that JavaScript file is going to be different, right? Can we expect the same output in all the browser? Yes. Can we expect the same result in all the browser? I'm giving same JavaScript file to different engine created by different developers. Then the output is going to be same in all the browser or different. It is going to perform different or it is going to perform same? The answer is again no, right? Because same input, different output. Not everything is different, but something will work in Google, will not work in Firefox, will not work in Safari, will not work in Brave. Like that, it will not going to work. So this is the problem that we face. So that is why 𝐏𝐚𝐫𝐭𝐢𝐜𝐚 is come. 𝐏𝐽 is came European Computer Manufacturing Association. Well, okay, so you going to, because they are the producer of companies throughout the world. That's the association 𝐏𝐽 is. Okay, so they said that they created a rules and regulation for JavaScript. That is what 𝐏𝐽 is. It is not a programming language. It is not another name for JavaScript. It is not the same JavaScript. It is a regulation, rules and regulation, governing body for JavaScript. Okay, they will say that how JavaScript need to be performed in browser. If I give this input, this is output. If this keyword is used, then this output should be received. They will tell that this is the input, this is the output. Then the browser will need to change their engine according to the input and output. Now it is exactly like the government is ordering the voice assistant application should be look like this. Okay, in India, voice assistant should have only red color. It should not have any other colors. Then say that what will happen? Everything will be displayed in red color only. European computer manufacturing, who have the power, they are supplying the computers. They create. Yeah. So they created, sorry, they created a rules and regulation for JavaScript and telling that if this is the input and this is the output, then the browser, all the browser, they accepted that. Okay, I will accepted that. So somehow I will perform any method or anything, and I will came up with this output. So now we can expect if I give the same JavaScript file in Google, it will produce Google, because we know the output that is already derived by 𝐏𝐽. So the Google need to proceed this output. The thing is how quick it is proceeding. That's what it is. So each and every browser is following the 𝐏𝐽 standard to convert the JavaScript code into bytecode, and they are giving the output. So now it is everything is going to be same. So the 𝐏𝐽 is a standard governing body that tells the JavaScript how JavaScript need to be performed in the browser. This is the definition. You can tell it in the interview. Okay. So this is what the definition is. Clear. So now what is the next thing is, so here there is a minor thing to notice is whenever the scripting, whenever the rules and regulation is getting updated, all the browser need to update their engines also. That is why the compilers for JavaScript came, like Babel, so much of things is there, right? So what is actually Babel is, Babel compile ES5, sorry, ES6 to ES5. So when ES6 was introduced, a new rules and regulation, a new rules and regulation, sorry, a new rules and regulation, that is to write the code. Okay, so to the way of writing JavaScript. Okay, so they added some methods and everything. Those methods are not supported by browser because they don't create, they are not optimized the engine according to the syntax. So then what will happen? If I write the code in ES6, it will not work in the browser. Then what we need to do? We need to convert the ES6 to ES5, and then we need to send it to the browser. Then only the browser need to understand. So during whenever the 𝐼FE is updated hugely JavaScript, so the engines also need to be updated. So every time the engines need to update it, there will be a gap will be there, and during the gap, to filling the gap, the compilers will come. That compilers are the Babel's one. So right now we are not using Babel's to compile ES6 because right now the browsers are optimized to all the 𝐼FE standards. You can write all the methods, it will be work in the browser. Okay, but during the launching time, no, during the updation time, it will take some time. So to convert this code, we need this compiler to the lower compatibility that the browser can understand, and we can put it. That's what it is. Okay, so remember that if a language is updated, the entire browser team need to change the engine to update or to understand the JavaScript. One and only language is available is JavaScript only. No other languages available. Okay, so this is the thing, and in future it is going to be changed. It may be changed. Okay, we have something working on without changing this. We have this something an assembly, right? If we write it directly converted to assembly, it will be understandable like an assembly language. It is going to come. That is not in previously. It is working on. We can expect. Okay, maybe we'll see. We can see what will happen. But this is the thing is happening here. The core. Okay, so this is what happening here. So then ES6, what it is? ES6 is the updation happened after 2015. Okay, so they introduced why it is considered as a modern JavaScript is they introduced a lot of methods and lot of the things has been newly introduced that are very important, like scoping, like the let const. It is introduced in ES6, and we can say the arrow functions, and we can say the destructuring, and so much of other things has been. Even classes is ES6. Okay, so that is also ES6. That will change the way how we are writing the code, right? So when it was introduced, if I write classes before 2015, there is no classes in JavaScript. After 2015, classes is there because of the syntactic sugar. Okay, so 5 we are going to give you a break for 15 minutes. Okay, 5 you will get a break. Don't worry, we have 3 more minutes and we will do it. Okay, so those all are considered as ES6. And is that ES6 is the last updation? The answer is also no. We are having ES6, ES7, ES8 till ES12 is there. And then why ES6 is considered as a modern? From ES6 to whatever introduced, that is a modern JavaScript, but ES6 is the core. Okay, all other updations are small method updated. A new method is introduced, like that only updated. No other features are there. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So ES6, we're going to classes is also ES6. We're going to discuss about the scoping, and we're going to discuss about this keyword because we're going to dump into asynchronous. So that's why we're going to little bit pause here, asynchronous. And I hope that the destructuring, I will teach till destructuring. Okay, if you have any other methods, you can just have a look into it. That will be very easy. Okay, so we will take this three because these three, it is just a method. This and scoping will take time. We will see these two things, and then we will jump into asynchronous. Okay, clear? Okay, so let us do one thing. Let us take a break till 15 minutes break. It's going to be there. Sorry, 10 minutes break is going to be there. You can join at 5:15. The class will be joined at 5:15. Sorry, we will resume at 5:15. Meanwhile, if you have any other doubts, you can leave it in the chat box. After the break, I will read the chat and I will explain to you. Okay. So second attendance form will be shared quickly. So join it and fill your form. And you have any other doubts, you can tell it in the chat box. Not only this concept, any other concept that having in your mind that is not a teach, you want to ask, you can ask it. I will give you an explanation starting of 10 minutes. If you have doubts, you can ask it. Okay? So class starts at 5:15. Okay. Yeah. So you can join the class after 5:15 and you can ask your doubts now. Thank you. Okay. Hello, hello, I hope everything is done. Hey, can you just tell me hi in the chat box? If my voice is audible and everything is fine, means we can start, resume our class. We can go and see about these concepts. Yeah, okay, thank you so much, Vijay. Okay, just a minute. Okay, we will start the class. Okay, so the first thing is all about, we're going to discuss about let const that is associated with scoping. What is scoping? Scope, where we are accessing the variable. Scope is determined where we are access our variable. This is what scoping is. Okay, what is mean by this? Well, there is two things that we need to understand is lexical scope, that is principle, lexical scope, and we have dynamical scope. So these all are like definitions, like principles. So any one of them, either it may be lexical scope follows something follows lexical scope or dynamical scope. Okay. So if it is follows lexical scope, then it will comes under this category, lexical scoping. And if they are following dynamic scope, they will come under dynamic scope category. Okay. So what is lexical scoping? Okay, lexical scoping is based on where they created, I can say declared. Okay, where they are based on where they are declared, their scope is determined. Scope is determined. Remember that based on where they are declared, their scope is determined. Which means I create a variable if it is inside a function, outside a function. So where it is created. So based on that, the scope is determined. Okay. What is dynamic scoping then? Dynamic scope is where it is returned. It is not a matter. Where it is called, where it is executed, invoked. Okay, that is matter. So based on where it is invoked based on where it is invoked, the scope is determined. Okay, this is the two things. Okay, so everything in JavaScript follows which scope, either dynamic or lexical scope. It follows lexical scope. Everything in JavaScript follows lexical scope. Okay, it is everything what we are writing, it is called as lexical scope, lexical environment. Okay, it is followed lexical scope, which means where if a variable is based upon where it is created, their scope is determined, their accessibility is determined. For example, if it is created inside a function, then I can say this scope is accessible inside this function, outside that function, like that. Where they are based upon where it is declared, based upon that lexical scope, except one thing. What is the one thing? That is the this keyword. This keyword is the one and only keyword in JavaScript that is dynamically scoped, which means this where we are called, okay, where you called this, sorry, where it is declared. If it is an inside a function, outside a function, inside an object, outside of object, that is not actually a matter. But you can see that the definitions are always supposed to like that. The reason is because they don't want to touch the dynamic scope and lexical scope, the concept thing. So that is why they don't tell that. So if it is inside an object, then it is an object, it refers to object. Then like that they will tell. But the actual references, the actual thing is, it is dynamically scoped, which means this always refers to the place where it is invoked. Place where it is invoked. If you put it in an object or a method or a function, variable, anything, that is not a matter. Where it is called, where I invoked this keyword, that object it refers to. Okay, see that. Let me see that. Okay, first let us cover the lexical scope. So lexical scope, there are three regions. We can divide three regions. One is global, global, Another one is it's going to be a global. Another one is going to be function. Another one is going to be block. Function is also called as local scope. Okay, block level scope. These all are the three regions. Either I can, if I write a scope, if I write a variable, either I can put it in a global or a function or on block level. Okay, what is this? A global is nothing but the entire document is a global. Whatever you are putting, that is, if you write it in here just like that, it is a global scope. Okay, why? Because it will go and store inside a global object, and not only that, whatever you are writing outside, it is considered as a global scope. Okay, it is considered as a global scope, which means it is considered as a global scope. Okay, so then so where like this global scope, which all are the place I can access? Anywhere you can access, anywhere, any anywhere you can access. If you are writing a scope in the global scope, you can access the variable anywhere. Okay, then function scope or local scope. What is this? This is writing a variable inside the function. Right? Creating, declaring a variable inside the function. Then the accessibility is lexical scope, where it is based upon where it is declared, the scope is determined. So it is inside the function, means only inside the function. Then we discuss this one, then we jump into block level. Okay. For example, I creating a variable, let a equal to 10. What is this? It is written in the document, then it is global scope. So it is created in a global space, so it is a global scope. So if it is a global scope, where I can access? Anywhere I can access it. So what is the other two places? One is a block. A block means the curly braces. Whatever you are writing inside the curly braces, it is a block. So it is the block and different region. And another, it is going to be another function. Okay. So these all are the three different regions. One is function region, block region, and the outside the function and block, they are global. Okay, everything. So I created a variable globally. Then I can access this variable anywhere. For example, console.log a. I'm accessing the variable outside. Okay, outside the block and function. It is, I'm able to get the value. I'm accessing the variable inside the block. I'm able to get the value. I'm accessing the variable inside the function. I'm able to access the value. That is why I say anywhere. So if you write a global variable, it will be accessible anywhere inside the document. That's the thing. So now function scope. Declared a variable inside the function. What to? I just comment up this, copied this one, put inside this function. Now this variable is created where? Inside the function. So it is function scope, which means it is accessible only inside the function. Okay, so let me put like this below here, like this, and you can see this is a function. If I access the variable inside the function, yes, I can able to access it. If I try to access the variable outside the function, which means in the global space, if I put it in the global region, I'm trying to access it, we are getting reference error. What is reference error? Reference error is a type of error you will get when something is not defined in your application. Okay, it will look for something you invoked. Okay, so that is not available, means it will throw an reference error, and it will tell you the message that what is not available. Here a is not defined, which means a is not available anywhere in the memory of JavaScript. So it is telling that it is not defined, it is not able to define. So why? Because this variable is restricted inside it. This accessibility of this variable is restricted inside this function. The simple thing is, this one is like a public space. Okay, anyone can go and anyone can use it. Okay, so like we can say like public Wi-Fi space, public car, anything like that. Anyone can go, anyone can use it. This is like a private place, a home. Okay, a home or a classroom. Only that particular people who are having access to it can use it. So here it is a private place. It is only accessible only inside this function. You cannot access outside. So in this region, we are not able to access it. I'm trying to put the variable access inside a block, like different region. Okay, I'm putting here again. I'm not able to access it. So the scope is restricted inside this particular area only. That's what it is. Function scope is. Okay. So then what is block level scope? Block level scope is also exactly same. If you created a variable inside the block, okay, then it is accessible only inside the block. Seems okay, right? Because if it is global, anyone can access. It is function, then anyone can access. Why I'm putting variable particularly inside function? Because I want that variable only inside the function. No one can access it outside. That is why I'm putting variable inside a function. Same like this, why I'm putting a variable inside a block? The reason is I want only variable access inside the function. It may be a sensitive data, maybe anything that is not, I don't want to share outside person to change the variable. In that case, what can I do? I can put it in a particular space that I can use it, no other person. I will put my 𝐸𝐚𝐫𝐭𝐢𝐜𝐤𝐚 in my home only, right? I don't put it in some other place, right? Why? Because no one can, like, I need that. No one, I need to protect it, right? That's the reason, right? Same like this. So if it is a block level scope, you can able to access here inside the block level and trying to access the scope. Yes, we can able to access inside. The people who are having access, they can able to access it. But if I try to access from another region in a function, we're getting a reference error. Try to access outside the variable, outside the global scope, we will get an again an error. So same simple, same like this. A block level is also block level inside block, access only inside the block. No one can able to access it outside. That's the reason, right? We are getting we are getting out of this, right? So then, okay, that is fine. Then actually, what is the difference between var and let keyword, right? So you want to know that, right? What is the difference between var and let? So the thing is, var is not have block scope. What is mean by that? Well, if you created a variable, right now you can see this concept. I created a variable with let. I put it in a block. It is accessible only inside this block. But the same variable, if I create it in with var doesn't have block level scope. Means this variable is still considered as a global variable. If I save it, you can able to access it outside the block level also. Sorry, outside the block level. In the inside the function also, you can able to access it without any restriction. So it is also acting like a global variable. So that's the reason var keyword does not have global scope. Sorry, block level scope. Very sorry. So it does not have block level scope. If you create a variable with a var keyword, then you are trying to restrict inside a block. It will not restrict. This variable is accessible outside the block also. So this will lead to some errors, right? Think about that. I have my 𝐸𝐚𝐫𝐭𝐢𝐜𝐤𝐚 in my room instead of putting inside my core room. Like instead of inside my room, I put it in outside my room. What will happen? Someone can take it, right? Same like this. So I don't want this variable to stolen by someone. That is why I'm putting it in variable. But this var keyword, what he is doing is giving it global access to my private variable. That is one problem, that the difference that we are facing. That is why we are creating let. If you create a let, it will throw you an error. You cannot access it outside anywhere in the region. It is only restricted. Okay, that's the reason. So basically, let and const or block level scope. Var keyword is not a block level scope. One thing. And here scoping, another thing is also you need to notice is, well, this global scope, right? When you create a variable with var keyword, so it will globally, okay, it will store. If I create a variable like this, var a equal to 10, where this variable will go and store, well, this variable will go and store inside the global object, which means the Windows object. You can see that Windows, sorry, window, and you can able to see this a equal to 10 is stored inside this Windows object. You can able to access it by calling windows.a also, it will be accessible and you can able to use it. So, but when I write this with in a let keyword will not store the variable in a window object. Instead of this, it will store it. It is not storing. You can see a is not there anywhere, right? It is not storing. Where it is stored means, well, it will store it in a special place called block, a script. It will create a separate thing and it will store it. But still, it is accessible by everyone. Still, it is accessible by everyone. So that is the reason. This is the one difference. Var doesn't have a block level scope. Var stores the variable in global object. Let have block level scope. Let it doesn't store the variable in global scope, but you can able to access the variable. The same scoping concept, it will be applicable there. So the storing memory is different, right? So why it is storing, like it seems clearly, if it is available globally, then anyone can access it. So var keyword stores the variable globally. We can access it globally. Then how the let keyword, it is inside somewhere else, then how can I access it? We have a problem, right? That is a whole different concept called hoisting. This is because of hoisting process. We are having this one, this thing. That is a whole different thing. If we have time, we will cover hoisting also. No issues. No issues. Okay, it will takes up the like how classes takes time. Same like this, it will takes up me for 1 hour to take up the class of hoisting also to teach the in-depth. Okay, so yeah. So right now, what I can do is I can create a new snippet. What can I do is I can show you where this a variable is getting stored, okay, inside this new snippet by using the debugger keyword, and let us see where we can see. So here this is the sources. You go means you can able to see the new snippet. Here you can write your JavaScript code and you can control the execution of JavaScript with the help of debugger. A keyword called debugger is there. If you put it means we can able to control it and we can able to control the execution one by one, whether I need to jump or I need to run it the next line or I need to run the previous line or the the next, like that I need to run it, like that we can able to execute it, step out, step in, like that. So we can able to execute the function, and here you can able to see the scope, right? So this call stack, breakpoints, watch, no. So this thing's not needed. Actually we need the scope only. We will see that. Okay, right now I created this one and I just going to say debugger. This is a keyword. So if JavaScript reads this line, it will give control to ourselves. It is not going to execute. If I just enter it right now, the debugger is activated. You can see that in scope there is actually two things created. One is global scope. You can able to see all the global variable that is available. It is available global scope. Though because I used the let keyword, it will created an another one that is called as a script. And don't care about this undefined. That is actually what I'm speaking about, the hoisting. Okay, don't care about this one. Okay, so you can see the scope difference, right? So if you are creating a variable with let and const, it will be come and store inside the script. That is the block. Okay, a special block it is created and it will come here and it will store it. Okay, but if you create a global variable, a war keyword, it will come and store it here. Okay, so this is the one thing. So because if I change, if I just run this one and execute, right, execute this, right now it is done, and I change this to war now, and if I go here and I just click enter, just refresh the page. Okay, let me enter this. Okay, okay, let me put it here. Now I just enter it. Now you can able to see inside the scope only global is available, there is no script is available, right? You can see a is stored inside the global variable. When I use let keyword, then only the script is coming. The script is the block. It is responsible for the block. It will store all the variable in a different region. Then anyone can in global can access it. But based upon lexical concept, if it is declared in a, if it is created in a global space, then globally it is available. But it is not in a global variable in a different space. It will accepting the lexical principle, but storing it in a different place. That is the difference. Okay. This is what about scopus. Okay. Let me jump into dynamic keyword. This keyword. So this we can simply say, again I'm telling the definition for this is always refers to the object that the function is property of. Property of. Okay. This is a dynamic keyword. It will accept the dynamic principle, which means dynamic scope. Okay, based on where it is called, their scope is determined. Okay, so previously we discussed this. Okay, it is inside an object, so it refers to object. Likewise, what I said right, that is actually wrong. This is not telling, sorry, this is not where it is belongs to, the scope is determined. This variable is accessible, sorry, uh, this scope is accessible based upon where it is called. Okay, based upon where it is called, the scope is getting determined. Okay, for example, this is an object that the function is property of. If I create a variable for a equal to 10, instead of 10 I just say this. Okay, so where it is created, it is not a matter. Where it is called, if I called the this keyword in a global console.log a, where I called this keyword, well I called this keyword inside a global space, then it is going to refers to me a Windows object. Okay, same like this, if I created a function, okay, help, and here if I just say return this, okay, return this. Okay, so where it is invoked, the function is invoked this help. If I say console.log help, what is where it is invoked, well it is invoked in an object that is function is property of. So it is invoked in where, it is invoked in the Windows object, so it is going to refers to again Windows object. Okay, same like this, if you create one object const obj like this, and you are putting your function inside here like this. Now where the function is invoked, the function is invoked Windows dot obj dot help, right? So now where it is invoked, it is invoked inside this obj. Well, this obj is invoking the function, so inside this object only this function is invoked, this keyword is invoked, so it is refers to the function that is calling that object. So yeah, okay, okay, created var. If you created a var, Windows is not accepted. Okay, because it's not stored the variable in Windows, that's why. Okay, Windows door, yes, like this, type error, it's not a function. Okay, okay, hill, it is not hill, it is d type, and then it is going to be Windows dot object. Okay, you are not able to access when you store a variable inside, like when you store a function inside a variable, their name lost its accessibility to call the function. Then the property is only responsible for calling the function. Okay, now you call it, you can see it is giving me this object. Okay, because this is refers to the object that is the function is property of. This refers to Windows that the function is property of. Here object is in between, so I refers to this object like that, then this will be refers to. And here one more thing is, there is a concept called arrow function. Arrow function is a syntactic sugar for a function. So these all are the three spaces we will use this keyword. One more space will be that is called event listener. you can use this keyword in event listener. If you use this keyword in an event listener, that will refers to the particular element you refers to, like that particular element that you added to it. Okay. So I think I covered that one in the DOM operation. You can have a look into that. In the previous class we have covered. You can have a look into that. Then these are the 4 places we will use this keyword. So now the next thing is all about arrow function. So what is arrow function is, first of all, arrow function is a syntactic sugar for a function. Okay. If you want to create a expression type function storing a variable inside a function, I just say head. What we will do, we will create a function like this and like this, and we will say return. The return keyword responsible for returning the function. We will add the parameter like a and b, and here we will return whatever the values that we want to perform. This is the function, right? But the arrow function is a syntactic sugar. You don't want to write this function keyword. You can use arrow just equal to and then greater than sign. Just if you use this means, this is also completely acceptable format. This is what arrow function is. If I say head, you can able to see the entire function is returning. And if I just click on the head and I just invoke the head, now you can able to see we are getting none because we don't pass any values. I just go and give 1 and 2, and if I save it, you will see that we are having this 3 keywords, right? So we are having this 3 values, right? So that is what the thing arrow function is. And what is the it will be, we can reduce the function much more syntax, right? We will reduce the function syntax lower, like that we can reduce. How mean? Because if it is a one line statement, you're going to execute a one line function, then you don't want to write this return keyword and this curly braces also. You can simply write like this, a one line statement. It will be execute fine. And even you're going to only one parameter, not 2 parameter. You have only one parameter, then you can write like this without using the code braces. Also you can write like this and you can pass the value. It will be work. B is not defined. Yeah. Okay. You can see it will be work, right? This is way. So this way you can reduce, you can see the function is right now this is the function, that is the arrow function is. So that way it will reduce it into so, and most commonly this is how the arrow function will be work. Okay. And you can see this arrow function we can able to use it here, right? So if I create an arrow function like this, okay, so this arrow function, actually arrow function have 2 functionality. People outside they will take only one functionality. The functionality is it will reduce the syntax of function. They will think like that. But not only for that, it also changes the scope of the this keyword. If I just invoke an arrow function, okay, if I put the arrow function here, you can able to see it is returning this. We know that this refers to the object that the function is property of, right? If I save it, you can able to see now it is refers to Windows object. What will happen is, if you are creating, you created an arrow function, and if you put the this keyword inside an arrow function, then the this always refers to the root object. Okay. So root object is the topmost object that is available, and this is the object that is created of, that the function is property of, but the root object is the Windows object. So it is always refers to the root object. Sorry, it always refers to the root object. So that is the reason. Okay. Clear? So this is the difference. Arrow function. Arrow function is basically going to be 2 things. One is syntactic sugar, and it is also changes the scope of the this keyword. It always refers to the root object. So where it is used, whether can I use this object inside arrow function? Can I use it? No, you should not use it, because 95% of the scenario, if I use this keyword, then I need to refer to this object only. Okay. So during that time, you should avoid arrow function. So basically, you can avoid arrow function writing inside the object. Okay, you can just go with normal function. Then where you can use this arrow function is when you are writing function oriented programming language. So basically, there is an whole, like the paradigms are available. So if I say advanced to master, it is all about the starting master point of JavaScript. Okay, whatever we are seeing. So there is actually a paradigms are available like closures, scoping chains, and then we're going to see inheritance, hoisting, and those closures, curryings, script methods. So many of things is that they are like paradigms based upon how the functions is working like that. Okay. So during this function based component, you actually need this arrow function to change the scope of this scope of the function. Okay. During that time, it will be helpful, but right now you don't want it. Object oriented programming language, go with normal function. And if it is an inside an object, the function is inside an object, go with a normal function. If it is not inside an object, then go with arrow function. Pretty good. Okay, so you can use it. Well, that's it about arrow function. And then scoping, and that's it about this keyword also. You have any doubts? Tell it in the chat box. Okay. So what are the next remaining things are remaining? What are the other things are remaining? We have covered scoping, this destructuring. Yeah. So destructuring is also one of the common methods that is used, uh, most commonly used in all over the React place. Whenever you are passing the props from one component to another, it will be used. So you can use that one. So what does that means? Basically, like taking out the when you are working with array and variables, taking out the value from the array and value and storing it in a different variable. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, for example, I have an array fonts ARR. It's going to be I'm going to have the name of the person, or you can go with fruits like apple, orange, like this. Okay, it will go like this, and I will give a number if I want to create a quick array like this. You have it. So right now you need to take out the orange and you need to store it in a different variable, because you don't want to call every time ARR. Because if I want to access this particular value, how I will access it? I will say console.log ARR square bracket, and then what I need to do, I need to put one, and I will access ARR ARR. Okay, so we will access orange. This is how. I don't want to write it every time ARR square bracket 1 ARR square bracket 0 like that. I don't want to write it. Instead of it, what I can do it, I can say const fruit 2 equal to ARR square bracket 1. So now I can simply call fruit 2. Okay, so I will get the fruit value, right? I just say console.log fruit 2 like it. I will get it like this. I will get this, right? I don't want to write it every time ARR square bracket in a complex place, right? I just call it whenever you have a repeated problems. I just call it, and it will be accessible, and we can able to access the values, right? So we can use like this. We can just call it like this, and we can use it, right? So this way, this is actually going to be the destructuring processes. But ES6 destructuring simplify the process. So if I want to destructure this one, I need to create again const fruit one equal to ARR syntax 0, like that I need to write it, right? Just imagine you have 100 arrays and you need to take up about 20 values and you need to store it in a different variable. How it will be achieved? Well, it will be achieved every time you need to write it, right? So how can I simplify this process? With the help of destructuring. So destructuring, it is old way. New way is to write destructuring. You can just simply call const, and you can create square bracket here. Just give and tell what is the array that you want to destructure. It is going to be ARR. And inside the square bracket, you can tell what are the things that you want to destructure. For example, if I say fruit for u1, so based upon the order, it is going to take up the value. Based upon the order, it is going to take up the value. If I say for u1, it is going to take up the value of apple. If I say for u2, it is going to take up the value of orange. We can see that if I write console.log fruit fruit sorry fruit one and then fruit two, you can see we are getting apple and orange. So what is happening is, depends upon the order. This is an identifier now, and it is going to take up the value of this. This is going to take up the value of this. Like this, you can able to get the values you can get. But what if I want to ignore a value? For example, this fruit one, I need to take up apple, and this fruit two, I need to take up this one, not orange. Because based upon the order only, the array is going to take up the value. Well, how can I achieve this? Simple. Where you want to ignore a value, give an empty space like this. So what will happen? True will take apple, and here it is an empty empty place, which means this oranges get ignored, and this fruit 2 is going to be added inside this. It is going to take up this one, and if I run this, you can see we have this apple and we have this one keyword with us, right? Clear? This is what it is, right? This is how the destructuring works. And the same is going to be an array or like object is also, but there the destructuring will happen based upon the keys, not on the orders. So if you want to destructure the keys, you need to call the key names. Let me see that one discussion, and we will jump into asynchronous because we have a lot of things to cover in asynchronous. We're just going to say const, and I just say obj equal to is going to be an object, and we're going to have a name, and we're going to have John, and we're going to have the age is going to 45. Okay, let me consider if I want to destructure this object, call const, use curly braces, just give a square bracket and say obj. Okay, once you set the obj, it is the object that I want to destructure, and here inside this array you can tell what are the object that you want to destructure. So the object I want to destructure is name and the age, sorry, the properties I want to destructure, name and age. You need to give the exact name and age, then only it will be destructured. If you give any caps letter mistake or anything, it is not going to destructure your value. So if I say const, sorry, console.log name, and I say console.log age, you will get the John and everything. You can see it is destructured. If you want only the name, you can just call the name, it will be destructured, right? We can use it anywhere, name, instead of writing John.name, John.age like that, you can just write like this, it will be work fine. Okay, clear? I think Mike. Okay, clear. So this is the thing, this is actually the thing that you want to do with it. Okay, so that's what it is. This is what destructuring is. And we have nested object, nested arrays is that. Have a look into that, that will be clear. So if you have any doubts, you can tell it here. We will jump into asynchronous, and we will see how we can work with asynchronous and a real backend example. We can I will give you. Let me see that. Okay. Okay, so one more attendance form is there. I will share you the one more attendance form at the uh, at the it's 6:45. You will get the attendance form. So yeah, we will go for here. What is asynchronous? We have 1 hour time. Asynchronous. So what is asynchronous? Asynchronous is basically an non-blocking process. Non-blocking process. What is mean by non-blocking process? Okay, so you need to understand that JavaScript is an synchronous language. By default, it is a synchronous language. Okay, by default, this is synchronous language. So what is mean by default synchronous language? Means JavaScript can able to handle one action, one function at a time. It can able to perform one function at a time. So what is mean by that? For example, we have 10 functions. Okay, okay, to execute. Okay, JavaScript by default execute one by one. First function, it is completed, go for second function. It is completed, go for third function. Completed, 4, 5, 6, like this. So what is this kind of process is called as blocking process. Why it is called as a blocking process? Because it is like a bank queue. So who goes first have the token, and once the token issue is solved, then the token number 2 will go, then token number 3. So other till if I have a token number 5, then I need to wait for token 1 to 4 to complete, then only I need to go for, then only I can go. So I need to wait, right? Same like this. Here in process is called as blocking process, means I need to wait for the before function to complete, then only the execution will be run. So this way, this kind of process, what is the demerit? You can able to see that the demerit is a blocking process. Sorry. So the demerit is going to be a blocking process, which means, uh, sorry, the demerit is going to be a blocking process, which means a function need to wait for another function to complete. So it is not speed. I'm telling JavaScript is not speed, but most of you will get confused. Is that JavaScript is not speed? No. Everyone says that JavaScript is pretty cool, and it will execute speed, right? So it will notable for its speed, and it will run browser seamlessly. It will flexible speed. It's named for it, right? Then I'm telling that JavaScript is a synchronous process and having a blocking. Then how it is speed? So actually, the entire JavaScript is like that only. Okay, so it is have a blocking scope, but though it has a blocking processing by default, it can able to work speed. It is JavaScript is built for browser, but it can able to run outside the browser like that. JavaScript is not an asynchronous programming language, but it can able to handle asynchronous programming language. Like this, it will be like this only. Same like this. One of the concept is JavaScript is a synchronous language. It has a blocking process in it, but it is speed. How? Well, JavaScript it itself is a synchronous language, but the browser giving them a support to handle the asynchronous process. So what is asynchronous? Synchronous is like a bank queue, right? Asynchronous is like a what? Restaurant. Okay. In restaurant we have waiting, but the waiting is not that much delay compared to the bank, right? So waiting means we wait for the result to come, not for the order to take, right? For example, to telling to tell my request, hey, I'm coming for deposit, I need to wait. My request is still on hold, then the process will take place, right? And it will take some time. The process taking time is different, but before telling the request I need to wait. But in portal is not like that. If I go and sit, the server will come take over order, and he will tell the order to kitchen. And meanwhile, the server, what he will do? He is not going to wait for the entire the order that I make to complete. What he will do? He will go and get the another order. He will go and get the another order, right? So what he will do? He is not waiting for the process to complete. He will go and take the request. I don't want to make them wait. I just take the request, whatever the orders you want. Just take out the request, and I will put it in the kitchen. And once the kitchen is ready, I will serve them all of them. If my order is ready, take it, take it, take it. Like that, I will give you. But bank is not like that. I need to wait, and I need to tell the request. Then the process will take place. Before telling request, I need to wait. Here, the requests are taken without waiting any delay. The requests are taken, collected from everyone, and one by one, the process, how long it takes time, the process will be delivered to the person. That is pretty quick, right? That is what asynchronous is. If you want to perform an asynchronous process, then you need to have an asynchronous language, right? But here it is a synchronous language. So what is happening is the browser, like I said, JavaScript is not understandable by browser. So what the browser did, they created the JavaScript engine to understand the JavaScript thing, right? Same like this, JavaScript is not a synchronous language, but for front end we have no other option. Only language that is available, only engine that we created is JavaScript that can be able to work in the front end. So what we don't have any other option. We need to work. We need to make the programming language. Then we need to use the JavaScript, but it is a blocking tick, which means still it is going to delay the process, right? Not just that much of delay, but it is going to delay the process. We need to achieve the speed because so much of interaction came in the front end. Think about Google Maps, how quick the GPS is working. Like we are go and search the particular place, drag, drop. Like think about that speed, right? So how can I make the request that quick? How can I take the request that quick? I don't want to wait. My speed is everything, right? So I don't want to make my people to wait in my website. What can I do now? Well, again, the browser came as a volunteer. You have some issues with you. You have a blocking by nature. I don't want in my browser. I don't website. I don't want any blocking request happen. I'm going to make you as a non-blocking, which means asynchronous. So what the browsers are doing means they are giving support to the JavaScript browsers. Okay, they are giving support to the JavaScript browsers by that is called as runtime environment. What is that? Runtime environment. JS runtime environment. Okay, and a good example is I think I have added GitHub. And this one, this is a pretty good one. You can see here. Go for this. So what is this runtime environment? Well, this runtime environment, with the help of this runtime environment only, the entire JavaScript is getting everything from the browser. Okay. Without that, JavaScript is not understandable by browser. JavaScript is not perform that speed like this. So browser providing a runtime environment. Runtime environment is basically everything. This whole thing is runtime environment. And what are the things are inside the runtime environment? So the first thing inside runtime environment is this. What is this box? This is the JavaScript engine that is used to convert our JavaScript code into a machine understandable code. Okay, so here the process is hidden. They only added memory heap and call stack. So what JavaScript engine, how JavaScript engine will look like means JavaScript engine. Okay, so inside JavaScript, this is the process will take place. No, clear. It is not the engine. Yeah, this one, exactly this one. This is JavaScript engine. So once we completed engine, we will come to runtime environment. So this is JavaScript engine. We are looking into this box only. So what is happening in JavaScript is load. Quick. Okay, let me come here. So this is my JavaScript file. So inside this JavaScript file, what is the language that we use to write our code? So the language that we use to write our code is English, right? That is not understandable by the computer, your screen. You can see that, right? It is not understandable by the computer. So what will happen is this JavaScript file is taken by the JavaScript engine. So the first thing that what it will do, every programming language, it will do it. What is that? Parsing. What is mean by parsing? Cutting down the program into smaller piece. What it will do? It will do parsing. So parsing is basically, for example, I write function a curly braces parameter code braces a equal to 10. I think I write it here, right? You can see we have a function. We have a function this, right? If I write the function, what it will do? Well, it will pass down each and everything. Const, head, parameters. It is going to be a function and curly braces, return keyword, what we need to return, what is the operation we need to perform. It will cut down each and everything and it will store it in a different place. And that forms a tree like hierarchy, like DOM. How DOM take out the HTML and pass down DOM, we know that, right? So it take the entire HTML and pass down each and everything into a small pieces and it will construct a tree like structure, right? So that is what actually DOM is. Same like this, here the program is also taken, passed down into small things. Okay, so keeping separate, organizing. Okay, and it will create a tree like structure. That tree like structure is called as AST, abstract syntax tree. Abstract syntax tree. So this is what it will do. During this parsing, what will happen is memory allocation will happen. Okay, so during this process, memory allocation will happen. So what is memory allocation? So if it read the code, then I need to store the value in somewhere, right? If I create a variable, storing a variable inside a container, so where it is storing? It will store inside this memory heap. Inside this memory heap, it will go and store it. Hey, a new function I passed down, take this function, store this value. Take this function, store this value. Like this, it will go and store it. Okay, one thing. And next, what once the tree like hierarchy is completed, then the code is interpreter. Okay, read by the interpreter. So what is meant by is that JavaScript is an interpreter programming language? Yes. And also, JavaScript is an interpreter language, and also it can able to compile the code also. Okay, that is what we're going to discuss again. Like this and that, like that. Okay, so again, so it is an interpreter language, and also it can able to compile the code. How means? So it is read by the interpreter. What is the advantage of interpreter? The file starts quickly, right? It will start to read the file quickly. Okay, we don't have any waiting time, so it will start to read the file quickly. And what it will do means, where there is another arrow mark need to come, it will convert the interpreter, convert the code into a bytecode. Okay, but what is the disadvantages of interpreter? Whenever a repeated function loops or a repeated thing running again and again, it started to slow down the process. The interpreter start to slow down. Initially it will start quick, but the repeated function happening, it will slow down. Okay, so compiler, what is meant by compiler? Initially, it will take some time, and what it will do means in the time means it will optimize the code to like if any repeated code is there, it will just don't run it again and again. It will optimize the code to the initial phase, and then it will convert a new code for us. Okay, that was compiler will do. So it will be initially it will take some time, but it will during repetition there is no delay will be there. Okay, but for my I need to run quickly, and also I need to run fastly also when repetition is happening. So what will happen is, while JavaScript starts, interpreter read the code and it will just execute the file. Okay, it will execute the thing. Meanwhile, what will happen is, while the interpreter is reading the line by line, there is a thing called profiler. It's like a monitor. It will look for the continuous, it will look for all the code that the interpreter is reading. If any repeated code is found, what will happen is, this profiler just find out the code and it will send to the compiler. And what the compiler will do, the compiler is going to compile the code. Okay, which means it is going to transform the code to run again and again. Okay, so run and again, and then it is going to optimize the code and send to the string. So interpreter, while initiating, interpreter takes place. Meanwhile, the initiation, compiler is also checking out the code and it is compiling the code meanwhile. So we have the optimized code. Initially, it is also running quick, and also it will be run there also. So this kind of process is called as JIT compilation. You can able to see JIT, a particular just in time. You can able to come with this kind of work is called as JIT compilation. And because of this only, JavaScript like engines can able to convert the JavaScript code as quick as possible. Or else what will happen, if you click a button, there will be a delay will be there while changing the HTML and CSS. The delay will happen. How quick it is changing? Because of this process, the starting interpreter is working and compiler is working in between to change all the repeated code. So that is the reason. This is called a just-in-time compilation. This process, this method was introduced by Google Engine V8 because of the product map. Google Maps is there, right? So we have so much of interaction is there. So initially, if it is interpreter, if it is a compiler, it need to wait for loading. That is also a problem. If it is an interpreter, if any repeated, there is so much of repeated code will be there. And if it is repeated process will be there. And if it is repeated code, interpreter start to slow down. So they come up with a solution, JIT compilation. And right now every engine is using that. So this, because of this only, the engine is for speed. Okay. So now the speedest engine is V8 engine only. Google engine is only fastest way to convert. If you use Google map in Google, it will work fast compared to if you use the same Google map in Internet Explorer. Okay, because the engine compilation is different. That's what this is. Okay, and speaking about memory heap, here the memory allocation is happen. Speaking about the call stack, here only the execution will happen. So this, the whole sort of concept. Maybe we have any core master thing, we will cover this. So the execution means if I invoke, for example, if I say head equal to, that is what the synchronous asynchronous is happening. We are coming into here. Now come here. So what is this call stack is? Call stack is the place where the invocation happens. So here I say, na, so if I have 10 function to invoke, JavaScript invoke one by one. How means first function will come to call stack. You can see this bar, right? You can see this bar. So this bar, once it is executed, then once it is executed, once it is completed, then it will go for the next function, go for the next function, go for the next function and execute it. Okay, so likewise it will keeps on goes executed. Once it is completed, then go for next function. Once it is completed, it will goes on next function. So that is the blocking scope. So now what will happen is, the browser, they provided engine to convert the code, and also to stop this asynchronous process, they provided these things, something called as web API. So web API basically, what is this web API? Is or the like you can able to see the web API. DOM is also a web API. That is the one thing that has helped us to convert our like getting access to the nodes that are available in the browser. We are changing HTML and CSS. How? With the help of DOM only. So that is a web API, not a JavaScript native code. That is not JavaScript. That is a application programming interface created by browser. They are providing it to JavaScript to access it. Okay, and we have Ajax. Ajax is basically used to handle this asynchronous process without reloading the page. We will come out this net, and you can able to see set timeouts, everything. So basically, why? What all of the function is mainly focused on is which all of the function that is taking up some time to run. That all are considered. That all are comes under this. That's all comes under this WebAPI. For example, if you want to handle server, okay, so then that is an asynchronous process. Why? Because it will take some time to execute. Okay, first thing. Okay, it will take some time to execute, and if a function is taking some time, then another function need to wait. Okay, so what a runtime environment is doing, if any function that is taking up the time, then it is sent to this runtime environment, the web API, to handle it. If it is taking some time, like 2 minutes time to work, what will happen? It will send to the web API. Okay, it will send to the web API where the web API will take place. And meanwhile, call stack what it will do means it will go on executing the another code. So this way, we should not stop the process. So, for example, so the issue with asynchronous is synchronous is blocking, right? I have a function that is going to execute, take up some 10 minutes to complete the process. Okay, it is going to take up 10 minutes to complete the process. And I have another function, okay, that will not going to take any time. Okay, so if I call min, okay, I have max, okay, this is not going to have take up any function. So but though, because min is called first, what will happen is this min is the execution, it will taken by the call stack. Once the min function is completed, then it will go for the max function and it will execute the function. Clear? So the min function, max function, without any reason, it need to wait for another 10 minutes 10 minutes to complete the process. Okay, so that's the thing. So that's the thing. So that's what the process is, how the process is going to take place. So that is why the browser came up with a solution. Well, I provide you a space. Whenever you are seeing a time consuming process, I will handle it. You will handle without, like, the process that is not going to take any time. Okay, you will handle that one. Remaining things I will handle it. Okay, don't worry about it. So if a thing, anything that is taking some time consuming, that is actually not a JavaScript process. Okay, so what JavaScript will do means it will send to this web API, and here web API we have some of the methods to handle the time consuming process. If it is an API, we have fetch method. For example, if it is a DOM is also time consuming process. So what JavaScript will do, it will go and send to the, because it need to communicate with the browser and take the event, and it need to respond according to the event. A time consuming will take place, right? So what it will do means it will send that to an web API. So web API, there is, to communicating with browser is a time consuming process, and for web API they created DOM. So DOM simplifies the work for us to work with that. So same like this, what are the things that is going to take, what are the process that will take some time, that's all are handled by web APIs, not browse, not JavaScript. And JavaScript is does whatever the method that we are using to handle the time consuming process, they sorry, they are considered, they are given by browser, not JavaScript, because JavaScript is not executing that. That's the reason. Okay, one thing. So, so those here the some of the examples, or you can able to see here. You can see this DOM, and you can able to see this Ajax. They are the examples. Okay, so DOM, like communicating with the browser, is a time-consuming process. Web API, so it will send to the web API. We have DOM methods to work with the DOMs, and communicating with servers is also a time-consuming process. So it will send to web API. We have Ajax right now. We have Fetch API. We can use that one. And timeout. So delaying a function is also a time-taking function, right? I need to keep the function to wait. That's also a time-taking function. So that is also the set timeout, set interval. That is also not a JavaScript function. They are also web APIs. Okay, they are web API methods to handle the time-consuming process. So whenever a time-consuming process is read by JavaScript, it is sent to the web API, and those web API will handle that. Okay, that's what the thing is. And meanwhile, the call stack is not going to wait for anything. It will go and execute the remaining thing. remaining thing. Okay, it will go and execute it. So if it is going to be a time consuming process, the call stack, it will read it. Once it is read, just send to web API. Meanwhile, it is not going to wait anymore. It is going to execute the next function and it is going to go on for the next function. Okay, so this way you can notice that here 10 minutes the function needs time to execute. So what will happen? JavaScript read to the call stack, go for the web API. Here 10 minutes the function, it is running here for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, the call stack is executing another function, right? Another function, the next function, next function, next function. So a function is running parallel, same while a function is executing here also. Two action is happening same time, right? That is the asynchronous. Running a function parallel to the another function, getting order from one, given into some place, go for and take another order from another people, another one. Same thing. This is what asynchronous is. Right now I achieved, right? Whatever time consuming is that taken by web API, here the process is 10 minutes is going to take time. Meanwhile, another function is also executing. I'm executing two action in the same time, right? That's what asynchronous is, that we achieve here. And what is how the process will look like means, so once the 10 minutes is completed, any minute, not 10 minutes, so it is a big time. Okay. So it will take 10 seconds or 15 seconds to complete the process. Once it is completed, it will come and store inside this callback queue. Okay. If you have 10 functions to execute, one by one, which complete first, it will come and it will store here in a callback queue, a queue like manner. And here you can able to see like a event loop. So what is this event loop? The event loop is like an, it's like watchman. So what it will do means, it will continuously looking for this call stack to empty. Once the call stack is empty, then it will send the result to the call stack. So which means the preferences or priority was given to the JavaScript code first, then the outside JavaScript code, like this web API. Okay. So here it is going to wait, but no worry about this one, because here another function is running. We are executing another function. So simply it is like I'm going for a hotel and I'm ordering let me say like a Mexican American, like some kind of different, like ordering 10 food. Okay. My order takes some time. Like meanwhile, what I'm going, the server goes and takes some other person. That person just ordering a lemon juice. That is easily done, right? So what will happen? What will happen? So who comes first? He will comes and it will be the process of that. It will be goes on. But once my order is completed, I will get it. So I will wait for only the time what I asked for. If I am asking, I am coming for a huge work, then I need to wait for a big time. If I am coming for a mini time, I will accept it, right? But the asynchronous is accepting the request. I am coming first, accept mine, and no one is waiting to accept the request. I'm coming to hotel, but no one taking my order means that is frustrated. Then giving the order and my food is preparing. That is different, right? So that's the thing. That's the thing. Here, it was the same process is happening. And this process is called as asynchronous. So where we are using it? Where we are using this? Well, in front end, when it comes to JavaScript, the place where we use it, working with API, application programming interface, not web API. So web APIs are provided by browser. APIs basically means if you want to create, if you want to add a Google map, okay, a GPS location, a Google map, are you going to create your own Google map? If you want to add a Google map to your website, are you going to create your own Google map? No, right? What we will do, we will get from somewhere else. So who already created the map, we will go and get it, right? That is what API is. Simple. We don't want to write everything from scratch. We can take the map, we can take the application already written program, and we can modify it according to our needs. Okay, basically a communication between one application to another. If I want to create a startup that need to deliver, okay, that need to deliver products, okay, that what I need to do, I that need to deliver the product. So I need a map, right? I'm not going to create my business is all about delivering, right? I don't want to create a Google map. Google Map, think about the data, satellite connection, live location. Those, if I started to create that thing, then my startup is completely different. I'm not able to complete my application, right? So then how it is works? Well, already established program is there. Google is there. Google having their Google Map. What we can go, we can approach Google. They will sell their API. The API means a particular, for example, you can go for Medium. If Medium having API, you can able to get the API from Medium. And Medium, for example, they will provide all the blog post API. Okay, they will provide all the blog post in Medium. They will provide it. If you go for Google, they will provide you a link, and that link contains a certain data. With the help of data, you can able to access, you can able to create your own user interface according to your data. That's what it is. Simple. So you don't want to create it again and again. That's what it is. So simply, that is how you will connect your backend with your front end. A backend developer creates an API, and he will provide an API to you. Okay. So with the help of this API, you need to create a user interface, a front end developer. So here comes API act like a bridge between the backend and front end. With the help of API only, we are getting the information from database and all other thing, and we are showing it in the browser understandable format. So to look simple, servers, database, uh, formats are not understandable by a common man, right? So the, like for example, I'm storing a data in a database. Let me show you how it will and how it will be look. So I will open MongoDB. Okay, so this is an graphical user interface for MongoDB. Let me show you that. So I just getting into database right now. You can able to see we have so much of databases here. So let us click here doc API, and here you can see this is the table for that particular data. If I click here, you can able to see this is the data that is inside this date API. If you click, you can able to see articles. No data is here. Sorry for that. You can able to see home, orange is there, items. We having this, right? So if I, if where it is coming from, well, we will create an URL. Okay. So in that URL, we can send that, we can pass this data. Okay. So to show you the real reference, yeah, this one is actually an external API. Okay. If you go here, you can able to see this http.quickstore.api.products, right? So this is the domain, and this is the endpoint. And if someone reaches this endpoint, if someone reaches this endpoint, what it will use means it will use the list of all the product that is coming from the database. You can able to see it. Copy here, put it in the browser. You can see how it is look like. So this information is coming from the database. You can able to notice that the same how in my I showed a database reference, right? So same how it is stored here, it is also stored. This is how it will produce. Can can a user, can a common person can understand what is this? No, right? So what I need to do? I need to take this data inside this URL, and I need to create an user interface for them. Okay, so that is what that's what is going to be the front end one. Okay, so for right now we are jumping into projects. We are not discussing about the promise and everything. We're going to discuss about async because we have half an hour time, like 15 to 20 minutes. That's what the reason. So we are jumping in to see how the asynchronous is working. Async and await. With the help of async and await, we're going to create it. Okay, what is this async and await is? Basically it is going to be a keyword. Okay, so with the help of this, you can able to handle the asynchronous process. Okay, here what is the asynchronous process? Well, getting the data from this link is the asynchronous process, right? Getting the data from this particular endpoint, you can see this one, right? So I need to fetch this data. That is an asynchronous process. Why it is an asynchronous process? Because it is a time consuming process. Then it is not handled by the browser. It is not handled by our JavaScript.
it will send to where? It will send to the web API, right? It is going to send to the web API. So here only the process will take place, right? So what I need to do, so to handle, to fetch the data from, then here it will come web API. So there must be some method is available to get the data from this API, right? So that method is called this fetch method. So fetch method, fetch API is used to get your information from your database. So what you need to do, so if I just going to say, okay, if you want to create an asynchronous function, just start with async. That's it. Add a function. The function is going to be get data. Okay. So here the function is going to be an asynchronous function, which means it is handled by the web API, the browser. And here what I need to do, I need to fetch the data. Fetch is the method used to fetch the data from the URL. So I'm pasting the URL here. Okay. And if I run console.log data, see what will happen is you will get a result called bending. I just execute the function. You can see it is returning me a promise, and that is going to be a bending. So what is this? Why it is showing bending instead of showing this data? Why this happened? Remember this, what I said in JavaScript. JavaScript read this code. Okay, it is an asynchronous process. So it will execute the function, and when it sees this fetch keyword, fetch is not something related to JavaScript. It is executed in web API. So what it will do? It will send to the web API. They will send to the web API. Here the process will take place. Meanwhile, JavaScript, what it will do? It will not wait for the process to complete. It will go and execute the next code, right? So what is the next line code? Next line code is to execute console.log data. So here the problem with what is data is, data is actually what we are getting from this fetch API, right? But here the fetch API needs some time to run. But here this console.log is going to run before this process is going to execute. Clear? Before this process is going to execute, this console.log is going to run, right? Because JavaScript waits for no one. But here I need to make the statement to wait. Well, asynchronous is not to wait, but we need to wait. We need, for certain cases, we need to make the function to wait. Why? Because this data is coming from here. Once 100% I get the data, then only I need to log it in the console. So for that, I need to wait for this code to complete. So this is a dependent process. In certain cases, I need to wait. So during that time, what we need to do means we need to make this process, we need to make this code to stop execution, and you can go and execute some other code, but don't execute this code until unless this process is completed. How can I do this? That is why this await keyword is come. So you can use await before the switch. Now what will happen is when JavaScript reads this line of code, here it will see await. Okay, you are telling me await, which means if this process is not running, then you should not execute anything inside this function. You go and execute outside function, anything you can do, not at all a problem. But you should not execute this like which comes next before this process is completing anything. Okay, so what JavaScript basically will do, it will go and put everything inside this web API. So everything is going to wait it there, and here it will consider once this 100% process is completed, then we will get the response. You can see here. So this is actually a response like a promises. Now we inside this promises, inside this URL only, we are having the data. Okay, we are having the data. We need to go inside this data and we need to pass down the data. Okay, so for that we have a method that is going to be JSON, because the format that database stored is JSON format. It is a NoSQL database, so that is why. So what the method that we have is const. I can say this is a response. Okay, equal to data.json. What the JSON method will do means JSON method is go and fetch the promises. Data is the promise, and whatever the data that is inside this promises, it will go and pass down and convert it to a normal JavaScript array object. That's what it will do. And here, if I put console.log, again, I just ask for data. Again, I'm going to get it is sorry, this will be this. Again, they are getting promises with me. Why? Because this is also a time consuming process. We need to wait for this process to complete, because this is going to wait for this process to complete. But this console.log is not going to wait this process to complete, because taking out from a promise and passing down into a normal array object is also a time consuming process. So we need to put a keyword await also here. So now look at the structure. It is an asynchronous process. Getting promise from an external API, we are waiting. Once 100% the promises is getted, then we are waiting for another to pass down the data to convert to JavaScript array object. We are waiting, and once it is get, now we get the JavaScript array object. If I run it, you will get the normal array object you have it here. So now what is your work is? You need to create a function that need to provide a user interface, very good user interface. That's what your work is. How we can do it? Let me say show UI. Okay, it's going to be data. So what is show UI? So UI is going to be a function. It is not here. We need to create it. So I'm just going to say a function that is going to be show UI. It is going to contain product information, right? So I'm just going to say product console.log product. You can see we are getting this product. Now what we need to do? Well, it is inside an array. What we can do, we can loop through it, an array, by using iterators. Iterators is also covered in the previous class. You can use that. I'm just going to use the for each loop. Okay, the for each loop take up a function. I'm going to use arrow function. Whatever we learn now, we're going to apply it here. And here this function take up three values. One is going to be item, index, and so much of things. Here item is enough for me. So item is going to be each and every object that's inside. There is 20 item inside that particular array. I need only the object. So I'm just going to fetch that one. If I just put item, we can able to see we are accessing only the object, not the array. So now what we can do, we can apply the destructuring method to destructure each and every value from an array. So what are the values here we have title, we have description, price, and we have image. We can destructure those things. I'm just going to say it is an object. So this I just going to use the curly braces, and I'm just going to say item. And now I can destructure the value. How we can need to destructure an object? We need to use the keys. I just going to say title, and I just going to say price. I see price, and I need the image. And what is the next thing that we have? I think this enough. Okay. Now we destructured each and every object. Now what we can do is go for our index.html, create a div that is containing class container. Inside the div, we can render it. So here I just going to say, here I can put fonts container equal to document dot query selector. I'm just going to say container like this. We have this container, and I'm going to render everything inside this container. Container dot inner HTML plus equal to, I'm going to use the template literals. Each and every div, you're going to have this div, and this div is going to contain class inner container. Okay, and inside this we're going to have an h1. Okay, and inside this we're going to have an image tag with src, and we're going to have ant attribute, AG going to be the title, okay, and SRC we need to add, and then we're going to have H4 tag that is going to contain our. So let me think this as our H3, okay, like this, and here we can use the template letters. So H3 is going to be my title, and here SRC is going to be my image, that what I destructured, and here it is going to be my price. If we save this, we are having an error in dot reading this inner HTML property. I think this container is not get, sorry, we need to put the dot. Now you can able to see we changed this data to human understandable one, because writing HTML and CSS, now it is understandable. What we can do, we can apply the CSS and we can change that to much more clear, neat, that the browser can able to understand it. That you can able to do. Okay, how we can do this? We don't have any CSS here. I just going to add the style tag here. Okay, here it is going to be inner containers, right? So I just say dot inner container. Remember that where we give this inner container, we are giving the class here inner container, right? I'm just going to say inner container, and here it is going to be having the image inner container img image. Okay, and I just going to say width 300 pixel, height 300 pixel. Okay, you can able to see much more understandable. Now you can create the flex box, grid box, and do whatever things that you want to do, and you can do the like create a beautiful user interface. That's how. If somehow if an API is updated, we don't want to change any code, it is automatically comes here. That is why we are using the for each loop to iterate everything, and we are using it. Right now you can able to see the 20 information that we have added here, and it will be come here, right? So here you can use it, and you can use that one and find it out that, right? Right. So this is what you can do. Okay. So okay. So this is what you do, and you can add much more functionality, like include, sorry, much more functionality. Whatever the functionality that you want to add, you can add it here, and you can use this kind of methods to give life to your thing. Okay, so you can give life to the thing. You can use this include method. If it is include, if that particular thing is added there, then you can create a search box. Those things I already taken in the first day class, and you can have a look into that. You can add a search box, and if the value is matched with the particular value that we are asking, then we need to render that particular component. Okay, or else we don't want to render the particular component like that. We can create it like that. That's also possible. Yeah. So how when we create it, we can show it to you. I will show it to you. Simply what I'm going to do is, by practicing, just comes to my mind. That is why, just go here, id inp like this. Go for main. Here we have the search box, and let me add a button also. Search. I'm just going to say id bpm. Okay, this is front end. Okay, so now it comes to the core concept. You can try it out like this, how everything is built. Okay, so what can I do now is just here. Let me put it here. Okay, uh, const search equal to document dot query selector. Document or query selector is going to be dot search. Okay, dot btn btn like this, and if someone clicks it, so then put like this btn also. This is a button. Okay, so someone clicks the btn. Okay, I can add event listener. If someone clicks the btn, I need to run an arrow function. In this arrow function, I need to get the input value. So what is the input ID that we have given us? The input ID is going to be INP, right? So I can copy this INP. It is going to be the number value, and here I can say INP. And to get the value, we need to use dot value property. I'm just going to say const value equal to inp dot value method. Okay, so this is the method. Okay, we have done. So now what I want to do is I need to check the inner HTML. If it is matched with that one, then I need to do something. Okay, and I just going to say if the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to render this one. Okay, I'm going to render this one. Okay. What I want to do is I need to fetch the h1. Okay, inside here. Okay, inside here I need to fetch this. So how can I fetch it? Let me give a class equal to title. Okay, that's what it is. And here I just going to say const title equal to document dot query selector all. Okay, dot title. Well, I need to take every title. So just say dot title. So it is going to be an all. So here I just going to say title dot for each. So they're going to be take up each and every value. Okay. So I'm just going to say val. If the title, each and every title, not a value, just going to say txt text. Okay. So each and every text give txt dot inner HTML is equal to the value that I'm asking. Okay. Then what you need to do is uh, what you need to do is you need to fetch this also again inner container. Okay. No, we don't want this one. That's the title. I can say title dot style dot background color okay, it's just going to say hello. Okay, let me see it is working. If we face any error, we will run it. Okay, we are having add event listener null property at 351. Something is not good here. I think class button or id button. It is id button. So we change it to class button. Now it is fine. So now what I want to do, I need to search for it. I'm going to search for mints, MEMS mints. I just click here. It is not working. Let me check what is, if we have any error. It is not working. So let me put the console log and we will check it. Console.log, and I'm going to check whether it is clicked or not. I just say click. Okay. And I just say mint. You can see it is working. Let me ask for the value. Okay, let me ask for the value. You can see the value we are getting is empty. We are not getting the value here. So why? What is the reason why we are not getting it? Let me check that one. Dot value. value, it is going to be id query selector, we are fetching it. Why this is not getting the value? Let me write something. So click it. Yeah, we are getting the value actually. Sorry, we are getting the value actually. And what is that? What is the title? I just going to give the console here now. Console equal to hi. Now let us ask means. Click here. You can see this inside this for loop. It is not working. So let me ask for the title is fetched or not correctly. So this is how you need to debug our code and you need to write it. I'm just going to say what is title, asking for it, and let me click. You can have the node list, absolutely fine, and cut down, paste it inside. If I ask txt, what is txt? So I think we are messing up with caps small spelling letter. I just say mince caps letter. Let me check that. Still it is not working. Mince. I just put this one here. We are having this one. If I ask for text dot inner HTML, save it. And if I click this, you will get the inner HTML. Okay. What we did is we need to put the entire thing, right? So we should not use this one. I did a mistake. What I did is not put this one. That is why we have the includes method. So what we need to do is we need to use this includes method to check whether the value is included or not. So what I'm going to do is text dot inner HTML dot include. If it is contain value, then you need to style that to background that one. Okay. So now I just going to say asking for mains. If I click it here, we are having that an error property that cannot set a property of undefined null. Well, the title is not able to set. It's not the title, it is going to be text. Okay. See, this is how we need to debug one by one, line by line, or else you can write the code while you are writing. Now you can see you can able to get what all are the value that contains that particular value means you are having this. Instead of this, you can say display equal to block, else if it is not contained, then display, then that particular, here I just say display. What you can do is you can fetch this entire container and you can use that one. What I can do is I can do font uh, product equal to document dot query selector. No, we can put like if it is includes query selector, we can put the inner HTML. Okay. So now here we are going to get all the product list. No, the container list we're going to get, and we can give them a styling like another for each loop I need to create it, and only we need to provide the styling, right? So what we can do is here we need to create another product styling. Then we need to use them like how means. Let me do it, no problem. Product dot for each is going to be prod. I can say prod like this, and just view that particular product like this, or else give none. Let me see if we have any error or issue, or it is working fine. It is going to say means. Click on this. Yeah, we are getting only these three things. Okay, but the styling is not up. Okay, so I just want to say product, fraud, fraud, and then fraud. Okay, okay, what is happening? Remove. It's going to be none. Okay, so now I just put the styling means. Click here, and no, it is not applying. The fraud is not applying. So let me ask for console.log what is fraud, console.log what is fraud. Okay, and let me apply means. Product fraud is going to be this. Okay, everything. Okay, I need to. Okay, I did a mistake. Okay, okay. Fix. Okay, I hope I understood. I did a mistake. What we need to do is here is going to be the uh, product dot. I will share the address form within 5 minutes. Don't worry. Okay. So product dot for each. Here we're going to have the prod, and here I'm going to put this one filtration. Now this is fine. Okay. So now what I can do is we have this prod, right? Which all are matching the prod. Then prod dot style set. Sorry. Prod dot style style dot display equal to block else scene prod dot style dot display equal to none. And make sure the caps also, it will affect your code. Okay. And now let I take means, click still we are happening. Product, I think you can see we missed out this full stop here. Then now something happened, we filtered out, but everything is applied, right? So includes the value. I just have means. No one is matched. Means it is not working. Let me add this. I think we made a mistake. Uh, okay, with the console.log what is fraud. Inspect console. Okay, so fraud is going to be each and every element that is going to contain this inner container. Okay, so I remove this one. Okay, if I ask for means, okay, you remove this one also. If it satisfy the condition, it need to come inside means. Click here. So what is happening here? Click. We are getting this also. I don't want this. Remove this one. Means. Okay, so all the things are coming here. Why all the things are coming here? This txt dot inner HTML include means is include in everywhere. No, but it is resulting me all the content. Why? Okay. Again, I think we messed up with a particular thing. So I think yeah. Now let us search for means product not defined. Why product not defined? Okay, sorry, product here. Means after means okay, fill the keeping the description. I think we have to okay, we to remove this functionality. We will go with the previous one, what we have. Then we can add it. We can go with the parent node and we will add that one. Okay. So this one not. We can add it in another simple way also. I tried out this one. Let me check this. This product, we don't want this product. Somehow the code is this. Yeah, text. Okay. Let me check this one. Text, not text. So this is for means you can see the okay again I'm putting it in here. Remove this, remove this, you don't want it. Product dot background color. Okay. You can use the parent node method to get the parent node instead of looping through the element. That will be much more better. Right now only typed out. I just say nothing. Here background color is going to be green. Means okay, we are getting green. I can say dot parent node. Say this. Let us say means yeah. Now we are getting this right. So here you can simply change display equal to block. If it is not, then display equal to none. Simple method is the configuration. Okay. So I just refreshing go and I search for mints. And if I click it, we will get only mints for it. Searching the mints. That's the thing. Okay. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Just a minute, I will share you the attendance form. You can tell your feedback and whatever you want to do, you can tell it here. Okay, so this is basically not a DOM, but to do some assignment, I just show you the how can we work with the API and how can we filter it out. You can just show you the practical application. If you want to tell any feedback or communicate with me, just fill it in there. I will share you the attendance form. You can fill the attendance form, and once you fill the attendance form, just tell me it in the chat box. I will check it whether really how many percent fill the attendance form like that. People from YouTube also you will receive, and from other platform also you will receive. Don't worry about that. I know that it's a pretty long 4 hours of workshop, and we have covered from start from classes to API project. We have done. Not only this, it will right now you can put anything. It will come. Okay. If I put cotton, you will get all the things that related to cotton. If you put women, we are getting women only. And if you want to, this is how you need to search by a particular thing, a title or anything like that. You can search it like this. If you just refresh, the page will have everything. Just take this fit, maybe copy this fit, put it here, paste it, and you will get all the element that is containing fit. Right? And you just want to create a user interface that the human can accept and they can understand it. That's the reason. That's all about it. We have 1 minute to end the meet. So just if you have anything to say, you can tell it in the chat box. That's all, guys, for today's class. Yeah, we have done for today's workshop. And one more thing is, we're going to have a React beginner level workshop that I'm going to take in July 1st, uh, coming Saturday. Okay, if you are interested to revise all your concepts again, or you are pretty beginner friendly, Come and join this workshop. We have this workshop and we'll see everything in that workshop. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you.